Welcome everyone to the first Fight Night Rising here on Giant Slayer TV, new competition that features the amateur, the up-and-coming TFT players to try to help bridge that gap between amateur and professional level to really provide an opportunity for those players. And I'm excited to be here casting the first ever one tonight with my friend Casanova. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing quite all right tonight. Khroen, we got the very first Fight Night Rising Giant Slayer TV, baby. So excited for it. A bunch of newcomers here today. And we'll get in here and introduce the lobby that we've got. We got EricThomas, Leto, Fluffy, Exkeepcallin, Sasu, Zeno, Yui, and Bububoosh coming here for the first time on Giant Slayer TV. Excited to compete. We got the same format as the previous fight night that we had with Heroes Hearth, except for the prizing is a little bit different. Do you want to explain that to the people here?
Indeed, the prize pool for tonight will be money to the top 4 finishers. $100 for first place, second place $50, third place $25, and fourth place is also $25. However, the top 3 finishers will be the ones that are invited back for the next fight night. So top 4 earn, but top 3 get invited back.
Absolutely. And I'm excited to see what these competitors can bring today, especially with the new patch coming out, 10.1, the first patch of the new year, introducing a couple new champions with Leona and Karma.
Yeah, the new lunar units really shaking up the meta with obviously all the changes, but the new units as well. It dilutes the champion pool. There's a lot of neat things that can come with that. A lot of new and innovative things that people have already seen since day one. And so I'm excited. Day 2, seeing if people have any strategies that they've practiced that seem like, oh, this sticks out ahead of all of the other ones, or what we might see, because it could be whatever, right? It's a new patch. New units. There's so much innovation to be done.
Yeah, it's going to come down a lot to the creativity of the competitors we have today and the adaptability. That's going to be the name of the game when you're coming into a new patch. It's being able to figure it out the best you can, figure out what's good, and maybe it's just figuring out a counter strategy to what everyone else thinks is the flavor of the month. So we're just going to have to see how these players are able to do in adapting to their surroundings, adapting to this tournament, and adapting to this 4-game format in which every single game matters and consistency is so important.
Definitely. I'll be starting up the lobby in a couple of minutes here. But yeah, as you're saying, consistency definitely important. Some of these players might not be that familiar with competing. So, I mean, I know from just personal example, if I'm competing in a tournament, trying to play for specific placements is different than when I'm trying to play on ladder. So that, along with the fact that it is a new patch, and maybe even we might see the players adapt a lot of their strategies, a lot of their compositions mid-tournament here tonight, depending on what players will run in games 1, 2. You start to get a feel for everyone's comfortability. People probably aren't comfortable with a wide variety of comps in this new patch, so there definitely will see some preferences here from people, and maybe other players can exploit that.
Yeah, and even seeing with a new patch, a lot of times players, since everyone's a little bit uncomfortable, we'll see a lot of players be more comfortable in trying new things and adapting to different compositions that maybe they weren't as comfortable playing in a tournament beforehand. We did see a lot of players play very consistent compositions in past fight nights, with H2 specifically running his Vigar last time, which was incredible to watch, but we might not see people run the same comp 4 games in a row this time around, especially with a lot of new information coming out as we get into these games.
Very true. And we get into the first game here, and we'll see what these players are prioritizing on the carousel. I wonder. It does take another extra couple seconds for units to show on the carousel now, so it is a little bit different. Players can't already line up all, 8 of them at the same item anymore. You're not going to get there in time if you happen to be far away when the units do spawn in that carousel.
Yep, we did see Leto pick up a Spatula. We'll see if Blender is still the prevailing composition when you grab that early Spatula, or if the nerfs have done enough to maybe make it less of a strategy that is forced into. I do expect to see it a little bit, but maybe we'll see it a lot less than we have in the past.
Cool. 10 gold.
Yeah, I wonder because that has again received nerfs. I think this is the third patch in a row where blender composition has been nerfed, and yeah, I don't know. I have seen people run it during the day one of the patch, but there also was a bug in for a little bit there where Nocturne was doing more damage than intended, and I haven't really seen that many people run it when that bug has been hotfixed. So I'll be excited to see if people do try to run that tonight and if it will work out. I have been a blender player in the past, and then I started disliking it, but maybe this is the patch where it is, you know, not quite dead, but balanced.
Yeah, I did actually play a game of Blender today, and it did feel like the damage values are still there. The composition is able to still pump out, but sorry, I think you still need to be able to get a more optimal circumstance. It doesn't just come out as being something you can constantly force and it's always going to work. You definitely need to hit all of your power spikes and find a full, more well-rounded composition than just getting the Nocturne and the Sivir going.
Exactly, and that was kind of one of the major issues with that composition, is that you could literally, you know, open for the first few rounds of the game, which means, you know, sell your whole board and just make money. You focus on rolling down for those specific units later on when you have the econ to be able to do so. But I'm not sure we'll be seeing players do that because it is a very, very new patch. That's something that is a very practiced strategy. But we take a look at Fluffy's board here, starting off with a couple of electrics, a couple of berserkers on the field and the bench with the Renekton and the Jax, and the new unit Leona. She is a Lunar Warden. I will be curious to see if players really prioritize Lunar, because I think it is strong early game, but falls off towards a bit of the late game with that buff.
Yeah, and we just see Fluffy picking up that giant belt, which does enable a Marella Nomicon on the bench, which is an item we have seen a lot of in the past, of course, being strong on multiple different units. It did receive a small 10% nerf in the last patch, but I expect we'll still see plenty of Morellos.
Yeah, I think so. It depends on, I suppose, how many players will gravitate towards the sort of maybe like Ocean Mage style of play, or maybe even summoners with Zyra, and then, you know, your late game like Singe, the running man with the book. Morello's is definitely a very good item, although it has gotten nerfed slightly by 2%, I believe, went down from 20% to 18%. So I wonder if that'll change people's prioritizations on it or not.
We will have to see. We're going to look at Bububoosh's board here a little bit. Got a Predator on the board with the Kog'Maw, but on the bench we see quite a few Oceans.
Yeah.
See if he potentially tries to transition in that. Speaking of Oceans, we are actually on the Ocean map. We haven't talked about that yet this game. Is there really any major changes in this patch that you think affects kind of the boards and which compositions are going to have more power on the certain boards? I know there was a couple changes to mana costs of a few units, which may influence the Ocean map a little bit.
Yeah, I think the major one that I can think of right now is actually Senna getting buffed again. Senna was really, really hard nerfed after her launch, and so she was basically unplayable / unplayed. But now that Senna's gotten a bit of a buff, and her I don't know her ultimate name, but when she buffs all of her allied units, they deal extra magic damage. That has been significantly increased at 2 and 1 star, I believe. So that her being placed on an Ocean Hex means that she will cast her ultimate instantly, providing that buff for all of her allies, assuming that you're positioned correctly for that. So maybe some sort of soulbound compositions we see here tonight, actually, between Senna and Lucian, and maybe some lights thrown in. I know that's what a lot of people were experimenting with day one of this patch. So maybe some players have that on their radar.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say kind of the combination of all those things might lead to us definitely seeing some kind of soulbound light composition on potentially the Ocean map. If someone is kind of given those units early on, if it seems to be in the cards, I could see someone commit to such a composition. Right now we see Bouche has quite a few units on the bench here, looking at Preds on his board, but not a whole bunch of them yet. That is the tier 2 Kog'Maw, as well as the tier 2 Vladimir here. Does pick up a Senna, but so far just sitting on kind of a smattering of different compositions right now between his bench and his board.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll want to commit to Predators, because usually if you do that, you're going to want to hyper roll, at least for the tier 3 Kog'Maw, so you might want to prioritize, making 20 gold there, as I believe Bububoosh was sitting on 12 currently. But we're looking at Exkeepcallin here with almost 30 gold, and we'll definitely make 30 gold off of the carousel coming up here, and has a few Wardens. And a Kiana, which is a very, very strong unit. She has been nerfed a little bit, but still I would say is a relatively dominant and strong unit.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely still quite powerful. Just a 0.5 second nerf on the stun, I believe, was the change that we saw on Kiana. So we'll have to see if that plays much of an effect, but I don't really expect it to affect the consistency in which we see that unit picked up. There is a Spatula on the board. We'll see if anyone goes for it. Exkeepcallin is going to instead go for the Nocturne with the Cloak. It's going to scout around a little bit. We'll have to see who ends up picking up that spat.
Yeah, those items there that were just scouted did indeed look like some blender items, but grabbed another Spatula, I believe, was Leto, so maybe just going for that Force of Nature for the additional unit on board there.
I mean, I've seen 2 Thrashes.
Yeah, absolutely. It will be interesting to see what they do with it, because, of course, they did have the opportunity to look for that blender. They did have the early spat. I believe we did see a bow there as well.
Yep.
So could go for the Blade Master, but, of course, as you said, 2 spats now. That may not be the case. That may not be the route that they go. That's going to be a completed Runaan's Hurricane.
Yeah, that's some commitment.
Kindred. I mean, very early on to be committing to Runaan's, I believe.
Is this better?
Indeed, yeah, that looks like they want to go Rangers. I can't really... I mean, Runaan's is decent when paired with a Shojin, Spear of Shojin, because it does let you have additional mana gain. But yeah, this seems fairly committal to me, and it kind of screams Rangers. I think from day one of testing, Rangers seems decent at least. I'm not sure exactly how powerful, but maybe we'll see here tonight. Exkeepcallin going for that Ranger composition.
When you're forcing Rangers, do you like to have a Vayne early on, or do you still feel like that unit's power is not quite where it needs to be in order to feel like you need it in order to transition into your Rangers?
I mean, Vayne is a good item carrier. You're not going to want to commit items to any of your other Rangers, because you want to keep those until you find your Ashe, and I think at that point you might want to swap the Vayne out. I mean, I suppose you can use other units that aren't Rangers as your quote-unquote item carriers. But I think Vayne does do that job relatively well now, so you definitely hard prefer to have that Vayne early, as she does, she can give you that 4 Ranger buff or 2 Rangers depending on how many you're playing. And I think her buffs were decent enough to really, I guess, justify you playing her, especially if you're committing to the Rangers.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. We did see Exkeepcallin kind of hovering that Scion, considering purchasing that would be able to give the Shadow buff over for him, which was buffed in this patch, but I'm trying to remember exactly which tiers of the Shadow buff were increased.
I believe it was just 3. I believe that went from 60% to actually maybe both tiers got buffed. I'm actually not sure about that, but I think
it was both. I think it was 50 to 60, and then it was a larger buff on the top end.
Yeah, I think it was a 5% buff for the 3 shadows. It was 60 to 65, and then I think it was a 10% for the 6 shadows.
All right, so we may see some Shadow. I mean, definitely it's a smaller buff, but of course 5% buff, still 5%, especially for some of these stronger units from Shadow being Kindred, Master Yi. Maybe seeing a couple of those, at least the 3 Shadow teched in. It's just something for us to keep our eyes out on. Right now we're looking Shojin Morella's on this brand here.
Yeah, that's already 2 brands by Krugs. This is insanely high roll, actually, having 2 of a very specific 4 cost unit by the Krug round, not even stage 3 yet. Granted, there's only 14 gold here, but I mean, this is still a relatively strong composition, I think.
It's a Dragon Claw.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 3 mage already, 2 lunar, 2 ocean, kind of setting up for a big turnaround here, being on this loss streak. But as soon as a couple of these upgrades are hit, I feel like this composition is really going to pop off.
I think so, especially when that brand becomes tier 2. This will be insane. And actually, an interaction I want to talk about really quick here is seeing the Karma paired with the brand there. Karma will give a shield, and at tier 1, it will provide 60% attack speed. So for a Shojin user like Brand, when he casts his ultimate, he will start attacking very, very quickly and gain mana back extremely, extremely fast to start pumping out more ultimates.
On top of that, we're on the ocean map, so he's getting even more mana to continue getting this Shojin off very early and being able to pump out these Pyroclasms, which, of course, he's still losing these rounds, but he's just a couple units away from being incredibly strong right now. Just has to find these upgrades, because composition-wise, as you stated, this seems very good. This seems very strong, well thought out, and it's definitely seems like it could be a composition that could really even take a first place on an ocean map. It's just a matter of finding these last few pieces.
Yeah, at least finding the pieces to stabilize during the mid game is going to be the important part. You don't want to lose too much HP, and even that last round could have been a victory if the Talia hadn't knocked the brand into the enemy team there. So just if a few things for the fight RNG go well, I mean, this is only all tier 1 units, and as you said, upgrades are important, but even still, it has potential to be winning some rounds here. But,
yeah, I mean, that's just a testament to how strong it is. I mean, we're going to see it again here. The Pyroclasm this time does unfortunately only hit the Kiana, but we're going to see another cast come out because of the Shojin, trying to get a couple more down. But unfortunately there, I think having that first ultimate go off and only hit a single target really hurt the brand on this one. Overall, though, it is just a matter of finding these upgrades, because all these tier 1 units are just far too squishy, and that's pretty much the only issue. The damage is actually already there, just the round is over way too fast because the HP bars of these tier 1 units are just not enough.
Yeah,
Getting the upgrade on Leona, that'll help a little bit. It's not going to be all. Definitely going to need a couple more upgrades for it to really come online, but he does have about 55 HP to play with, so that could still work out for him in the long run. I'd like to check back eventually with EricThomas to see if he's able to stabilize. But for now, we're over to Neto, who is our leader right now on a 5-win streak right now. He's got a Nasus with Morellos hanging on these ocean tiles. 3 Inferno, 2 Warden. Just a lot of strong units on the board, it seems like.
Indeed, and with those wardens being Malphite mainly the strongest one, but Nasus is a very good Morella's carrier into the early game. Having a Brand in the backline, might want to swap that Morella's over when Brand reaches tier 2, but also has a Yorick as well, and facing a Yorick from, I believe it's Fluffy, on the other side there, with a GA already. It seems to be Yorick is one of the main, this is just such a strong unit during this patch. I'm not sure if that's due to the light buffs or just the meta swap in general, but Yorick does seem to indeed be dominant right now from what I've seen for the past day or so.
Well, and Fluffy with his Yorick is able to actually take that round and stop the win streak of Neto. Gonna have to see what people decide to pick up here on the carousel. We do have a Spatula available. We'll see if that is put into play, and it is picked up. Unfortunately, names are off right here, but I think that is Zeno that grabs that from looking at the judging by the little legend. That's gonna be Zeno. We're gonna see them pick up the Spatula. We'll have to see what Zeno decides to do with that. Very interested to see the Spatula use now that maybe Blender isn't as popular. So just kind of, it opens up kind of your mind on what people might be trying to do with Light being more popular, Blender being less popular, maybe a couple more options other than just a Blade Master item or a Force of Nature.
Yeah, indeed. I think there's a lot of creative things that you can do with the light spatula right now because of the fact that the light synergy is so strong, and going 6 lights, maybe even 3 lights. Oh wait, even last patch there was, the Exodia build Zed with you put a light item on him, have, your Soraka to enable mystics and your Yorick to enable summoners, as well as, all of the 3 of those enabling lights. It was a near unkillable Zed and won a lot of lobbies that way. So definitely light is on people's radars already. It's just how much they'll prioritize it, and if they want to go anything else, like maybe even a mage spatula or an inferno spatula or something along those lines.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be very interesting to see if that Exodia Z comp kind of becomes a more common composition to be picked up, just due to the fact that lights are a little bit better now. So maybe if you can't even get to that Z dream, you at least still have a good composition to kind of get you to forcing it, kind of allow you to stabilize earlier into the game, allow you to have a strong composition to make your way towards that late game dream.
Yeah, perhaps so. We see a lot of pairs here on the board. We see 2 Malphites, 2 Dianas, 2 Kindreds, but holding the Dianas and the Kindreds makes me think that we might actually be seeing some commitment to Infernos, maybe even past 3 of them. I was talking about those spatulas. Maybe an Inferno spat is going to be in the future here of Leto, depending on what they're able to find.
Possibly 6 Inferno is more likely.
For sure. We're going to have to see as he's trying to win this round right now while still holding on to that stuff on the bench. Got a couple Infernos. These hexes definitely doing plenty. Gonna take down Exkeepcallin, doing quite a bit of damage to him. Is going to be at the bottom at 28 HP right now. But we're going to go ahead and check in with the win streak. Yui popping off to 4 wins now.
Okay, I want Econ. So
and is our leader currently.
This is looking like a Berserker's composition for sure. The Rapid Fire Cannon and the Hush will most definitely be going on an Olaf in the near future. Already 4 Berserkers in play, and having Atelier just as an item carrier, and it seems to be enough, at least in the beginning stages of this lobby, to win streak with. It's going to be Wolf round here, so we'll see what other items that Yui is able to find here. Maybe just units. Nope, there's one. There's a BF sword and a tier. Maybe looking to go double Hush. It was nerfed, but still a very, very good Olaf item.
Yeah, absolutely. Just have to find that Olaf right now, kind of just working with a big, beefy front line, and then this item carrying Talia just trying to do their very best. And as you said, it is working out so far on a 4-win streak right now. 20 gold, being able to roll down a bit, and there's the Olaf. That's huge. Massive, actually. Already very close to the 6th Berserker. Never mind, has the 6th Berserker. Didn't notice the Jacks on the bench there, but yeah, that will be the 6 Berserkers, 2 Glacial. Got some items on this Olaf. Of course, wanting to find that tier 2 Olaf, but tier 1 Olaf already a very strong unit. And with this composition kind of, I would say, being weaker than it is now just before, and being on such a win streak, I expect Yui to do very well finding this transition, and going to be able to econ a little bit until she can find the Olaf 2.
Yeah, indeed. While some other players might be rolling down pretty heavily now, I'm not sure exactly how most players will prioritize spending their econ during this stage of the game. Last patch, people did like to go fast 8 at round 4-3, so they would sack their health for another couple of rounds in favor of econ. But it seems like some people, as we see from the sidebar here, are rolling and looking for upgrades. Berserker comp does power spike pretty heavily in the mid game, like right around this area, but especially when you hit Olaf too. So it's just a matter of time to when Yui does find that.
Yeah,
and
so
does
we'll have
opt
to
put in
see.
the deserts.
Yeah, the deserts, that is interesting. Does put that in for the extra armor penetration, being a very physical composition, Berserkers that is. And of course, the Olaf barely actually staying alive at the start of this one will eventually go down. This might actually be the win streak going away for Yui, and it will. But that's still not a huge deal. Of course, Yui was econing on that last round, did save, did not actually spend any of her gold. And so I expect her to continue to do that, use this HP as a resource. She's at 80. She's still the HP total leader. And just try and eventually level to 8, find that tier 2 Olaf, and continue to move forward with this composition.
Yeah, definitely. The opponent there, I believe Soneto, had 10 gold last round as opposed to Yui's 40 gold. So definitely using that HP indeed as a resource, and is going to look to scale into the late game with that and try to have the gold to find those Olaf 2s.
Yeah, I do want to check back in with EricThomas, who did have the that brand composition earlier. We do see he has found some upgrades. He has dropped pretty low to 18 HP, but we'll see if this is going to be enough for him to start to come back into this game. We do still have that Karma buffing this brand, which now actually has a death cap. So we're going to see if these Pyroclasms come out. Not having it on the Ocean Hex, however, did slow down this first Pyroclasm, and we'll see if he can still get enough out. I mean, that's so much damage when it's finally coming through, but this Taric is so incredibly tanky. Getting the Mountain buff combined with the Crystal synergy, not letting him go down very quickly at all. And actually, from watching that, it almost feels like the brand would be better suited to be on that Ocean tile and get the extra mana to try and get more Pyroclasms out, applying more Morellos, getting more use out of the Shojins. Because while that death cap dealt so much damage, maybe getting out more of the Pyroclasms, more applications, hitting more targets might have even been better.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. I'd be interested to see the math on those numbers. The death cap being the 75%, AP scaling, but just the 30 mana getting you or allowing you to have those ultimates to just pump them out sooner. Not quite sure there, but it is a very, very interesting point that you bring up. But also, from I believe it was Sasu that was the opponent last round. I'm curious to maybe check in with her in the near future to see more of that composition. It seemed to prove very, very dominant. I mean, the Taric getting the Mountain Shield was kind of the icing on the cake there, but there were some interesting things going on there.
Yeah, and we do see a Taric just picked up for EricThomas as well, so we'll see if that does help stabilize him at that 11 HP. But here is Sasu's comp that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, the double hand of justice. So this soulbound composition with 3 lights and a couple of wardens here with Taric and the Malphite. But what's really, really intriguing to me is, again, indeed, the double hand of justice Lucian with as well, I forget the name of the item, actually, the Titan's Resolve, I want to say that is. Curious to see, because I thought that item was maybe not that great, but perhaps Lucian is a decent enough user for it, because every time a unit will take damage or inflict a critical strike, it will stack with a 1% per stack damage bonus. So maybe indeed Lucian is a good carrier of that. But the double hand of justice, if it rolls damage, will be really good. But if it rolls healing, I don't think that great. Perhaps Lucian can't really utilize that well, especially because the point of the soulbound is that it's okay if he's on the front line and he dies at the start of the fight. So the healing there wouldn't really be that impactful. In fact, it would be pretty negligible. And just when it rolls damage, does it actually do work?
So very RNG reliant composition with this Lucian, trying to see if he can roll the right kind of bonus the damage on these, try and see what he can do. I expect to see Sasu maybe go for a Guardian Angel for the Senna so that the Lucian can kind of stay up and keep dealing damage, especially stacking up that Titan's Resolve as you talked about. I mean, with the culling, we see him stack it very quickly, but of course he does go down there as the Senna drops too fast as well. The Titan's Resolve, very interesting though, because I do wonder the interaction once Lucian has died. I presume he continues to stack it, as that would make the most sense.
It should, because items do still work.
Very interesting because he should stay alive for such a long time, does deal damage pretty rapidly. Maybe he is a good target to stack up that Titan's Resolve, and it's interesting to see the adaptations for this new item.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some synergies along with it. Maybe even going the spell crit, the Jeweled Gauntlet with that to increase the critical strike chance. So when these callings come out, they will indeed stack that at an even faster rate. Unfortunately, a couple of players do fall. EricThomas and Exkeepcallin, both players on a very low HP, do indeed go out in 8th and 7th place. So not able to really stabilize in the mid game here, unfortunately, but there still is 3 more games, so definitely room to get some better scores. That Guardian's Angel was picked up.
I mentioned that's a huge pickup. Sasu actually able to grab the GA, so that's kind of exactly what she wanted to see, to try and buff up this Senna, allow the Lucian more time to get the damage out. This composition is still super interesting to me. I really am excited to see what this Lucian is able to do, especially picking up that GA, which I think was such an important item. and gonna go against the Preds here of Bububoosh. And we're
Ooh.
gonna see if he's looking strong. We haven't seen this composition quite yet, really up close. We see the Terracult coming out, going to keep a couple alive from these Preds. The Skarner, though, doing a lot of work, still full HP in the front line, as Lucian's kind of shredding through everything pretty quickly, but does finally go down to the Preds, but now still has the Senna alive to keep him up and firing, and he's going to continue to pump down the Skarner, who does do quite a bit of damage here, being that 3-star Predator, and having that buff on the Skarner that did happen in the previous patch to his attack speed when he shields. But overall, the Lucian was doing quite a bit of work.
Oh, yeah. Definitely was. We're going to check in with Neto, the lobby leader right now with that Morello's Amumu. Amumu was nerfed a bit, but still is a strong unit. 6 Inferno here, so that commitment has indeed happened. Kindred having that Runans, but also Rapid Fire Cannon and an Infinity Edge. A bit of a mix of items here. Kindred being the auto attack damage ranged carry, but also Morello's on a Mumu to apply that burn.
Yeah, and in the past we've seen a lot of these kind of mage Kindreds with the very fast ultimate coming out, so it is interesting to see a full kind of almost attack damage Kindred coming out, which of course as a ranger can absolutely apply those and do well. But right here, as we switch over kind of the caster curse on the leader, is going to lose quite a bit of HP to Zeno, who will actually take up that first place position. His composition looking very strong, and that is an interesting item on that Azir. We see a Quicksilver. I very much like that item. I think it's a cool change that was made in the patch, making it so you're just immune to crowd control. But you are, of course, committing to a pretty full defensive item in order to gain that. But I am interested to see how much it gets built.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. It's very, very powerful on a unit like I guess Nocturne, if to give a blender example here. You know, Nocturne, the only time he really dies is when he's able to get CC'd, so providing full immunity to that is going to be very strong. But yeah, as you said, it's a matter of how much players will indeed prioritize that. I believe, yeah, Bububoosh here with the Preds. Are the Preds going to be enough? There's even an Olaf over there, tier 1, but has a Hush.
Yeah, able to try and push through here. It does look like these Preds will be able to force their way through. The Skarner finally gets up close and personal. Has that Iceborne, which was also changed to provide an guaranteed stun after using their ultimate ability. So the Skarner able to get in onto that backline, get that stun, get that Predator proc. I do want to check in with Zeno when we get a chance, because that Azir was pretty interesting. I think that Azir had a Blade Master item as well as that Quicksilver. And I think Blade Master Azir is something that I had seen people talking about, but I actually haven't personally seen. So I am excited to take a closer look at that.
Yeah, that comp I was really, really intrigued about yesterday. It's sort of towards the end of when I was trying to practice, trying to figure out what is good. Saw people running something very, very similar to this, not with a Blade Master Spatula, but that does open up a lot of opportunities of what you can do with this. I think for Blade Master is still good, but the Sivir indeed being the main carry there. I've seen it pretty common for there to be a Runans, Hush, and Red Buff Sivir applying all those on-hit effects. Sivir was nerfed, I believe, so that her Ricochet only extends for 5 seconds instead of 7 now, but even still having that Runans, still it will apply to multiple units at the same time, regardless of her Ricochet being nerfed.
Yeah, it is interesting with the Azir also being Desert, so you are getting that Desert buff as well as the Blade Master synergy by having him as a Blade Master, which of course being physical damage dealers, the Sivir being a physical damage dealer, getting that Desert buff out is very helpful. It looked like Zeno's comp was doing quite a bit of damage, but yet again, we were cursing these players, and every time we swap to them and they have a lead, they start losing, as Fluffy is actually able to take Zeno down. But I still am interested to see what else is going to happen in this composition. There's quite a few synergies. I mean, Warden, Cloud, Desert, Mystic, Ocean, Blade Master already in. So I'm just trying to think about what else Zeno is going to do to try and build upon this composition from here.
Perhaps summoners, I think. Having 2 Yorks on the bench and Yorick 2 being such a solid unit right now makes me think that there might be some sort of summoner transition. Has an Annie as well, so technically 3 summoners is available. The Azir is 1 on board, and then having, again, the Yorick and the Annie on the bench. Maybe even we'll play the Master Yi when that becomes a 2-star. Has that Nico on the bench to be able to do that.
Yeah, and it definitely seems like I see the power of Zeno's comp here. As long as the front line holds a little bit, I mean, this Sivir and this Azir are really pumping out a ton of damage. So it definitely makes sense that he's been able to kind of hold on to this top spot. We do see Yui drops, but Bububoosh able to hold on with 1 HP, Sasu at 2 HP, Fluffy at 7, Leto at 9. I mean, everybody's in kill range right now. It's really everyone except for Zeno is holding on by a thread, and we're gonna have to start to see people dropping like flies and really setting up the positions after this first game, seeing where the points are gonna land.
Indeed, I had these points differentials, between maybe 5th place or 2nd is huge right now. These players will want to play to get at least that top 4, but top 2 if possible. But with Zeno's actually in such a good spot here because Zeno will be able to see what the last composition left is, or the last couple of compositions left, and then tailor their composition specifically to that, and does decide to get rid of the summoners, in fact. So I was thinking of a route where Zeno could go summoners and lights with the Soraka, Yorick, and the Aatrox, and then having a Master Yi, maybe swapping some Sivir items and then carrying that. But yeah, that route is not the one that is going to be had. But we'll see what Zeno decides.
That was really interesting. Decides to level the 9 and then is going to put in the Amumu and is going to Nico that Master Yi to get him to 2-star, give him the Bloodthirster. Yeah, getting real close to that 6-blade Master. I don't know if he'll actually be able to put that in before this game ends, but it'll be interesting to see. Right now, gonna go up against, this is Sasu, this is the Lucian, gonna be interesting to watch. Watching that Lucian's damage right now, he does get crowd controlled by the Malphite. Looking at how much damage that Zeno's composition is putting out. The GA gonna proc though, keeping this Lucian alive, and the Lucian is pumping. Sasuke's gonna stay alive and actually do quite a bit of damage. We're gonna lose Leto and Fluffy. Leto goes down first, so he will fall in 5th, Fluffy finishing 4th. And we see Bububoosh on a win streak with 1 HP, holding on for dear life. Sasu able to win that round as well, as we mentioned, against Zeno. Zeno now dropped down to kill range. Everyone can die here. This is such a close game that we're coming down to it, and potentially the final round right now, depending on what goes down. But everyone is unsafe. Everyone can fall here, and everyone wants this first place position to take a lead in this Fight Night Rising. We're going to see Zeno against Sasu once more. This went bad last time for Zeno. The Lucian is still alive and pumping. He's on the back line already, dealing lots of damage. The Yasuo trying to CC him, but there's way too much healing on this Lucian, and it looks like Zeno is actually going to go down.
Yeah,
and he does. He will go out in 3rd, and that's going to be Bububoosh and Sasu fighting for first place, 1 and 2 HP respectively. It's going to come down to the wire here, Khroen. Who do you think is going to be able to take this one?
It's either the Lucian with the 6 light soulbound or the Predators, I believe, of Bububoosh. I think it might be the Predators. I mean, Bububoosh is on a win streak, so assumedly has beat Sasu here in one of the previous rounds. And I think this composition is extremely strong, so we'll be able to I don't know. It's gonna be close. I think it's Predators. I think it's Predators.
My eyes are on the Lucian right now, getting hushed early on, but we see the buff coming out from the Senna. The Lucian is tanking quite a bit of damage, still hasn't gone down. Finally does. Now we have to watch the Senna. Can she stay alive for long enough? Lucian is melting through this entire composition, but the Skarner stays alive. Can the Lucian kill him in time? No. So incredibly close, but this Skarner is just far too tanky, and that'll be Sasu in 2nd place, and Bububoosh will take the first place of the first round of Fight Night Rising. Whew. That was kind of a banger at the end. Holy crap. I mean, they all
escalated real quick.
It went from 6 players to 2 players to no players in the span of 3 rounds. It's an incredibly quick finish to that game. Incredibly close and just really interesting compositions, honestly. I mean, Predators, something that's kind of fallen out of favor for a while, but there were some buffs that we saw recently, and we see, of course, Bububoosh taking Predators, taking first place, but Sasu having a very creative Lucian Senna comp with the Titans, what was it? I can't even remember.
Titans Resolve.
Titans Resolve, the 2 Hands of Justice. Very interesting.
Yeah, Zeno in third place there, not where I would have expected Zeno to be, being such a HP leader going into that late game. But yeah, Boosh 1 HP win streaking to find the victory here in game number 1 of Fight Night Rising. Very, very impressive performance there. And a couple of things that I did want to talk about is that Zeno was lacking a red buff on the Sivir. If there was a red buff on the Sivir, perhaps could have been the light composition that took him out for a couple rounds in a row there. But Bububoosh did indeed have a Morello's on that Sins to apply the healing debuff, which means those light units are not going to heal up quite as much, which probably was a large factor netting to that victory there.
Oh, I mean, I think that was absolutely the difference. I mean, it was incredibly close, the fight between Saucy and Bububoosh. And if he did not have that Morello's preventing healing, that Lucian would have had enough uptime to easily kill off that Skarner. It was doing an insane amount of damage. Skarner, just an incredibly tanky unit. He just needed a little bit more uptime, and Saucy would have won. So it 100% made the entire difference. I agree with you. I think if red buff was on that Sivir, we may have seen an entirely different story from Zeno versus Saucy.
And definitely, I think so. And it's just these small tech decisions, maybe not decisions, but just availabilities of items and things such as that really make the difference here. That was a very, very close lobby with the top 5 players there. So it's going to be we see some good competition already here, and I'm excited to see good competition going into these next 3 games. We'll try to see what the players have learned, what compositions they're going to gravitate towards, and the same things are on the radar for everybody. Everybody knows Predators have won game number 1. Soulbound 6 Lights got in second place game 1. Those are strong compositions, and we'll see if players will start to gravitate towards those, or what they're going to do. The Ocean Mages didn't really find that much success this game, so will players start straying away from that, or just what will happen? It's all a lot of big unknowns right now.
I think a Predator win can have a lot of impact on a lobby like this, because Predators is a composition that I feel most people at least kind of have a basic understanding of how to play. People of this caliber, players of this caliber, are going to at least have some confidence in picking up a Predator's composition. So they see that it can win a lobby, and maybe the value on Predators goes up, which in turn might make multiple people go for it, and therefore make it a terrible composition to go for. So there's a lot of different levels to the mind games on these compositions, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the players adapt.
Indeed, that's going to be the key in terms of placements for these next few games, just how the players do adapt. I'd be curious to see a situation where multiple players will go for Predators next game, seeing the dominance in game 1. I'm not quite sure. I think there's still a lot of strong compositions. There's that Blade Master composition for sure. There's 6 Lights, there's Predators. Boom, that's already 3 comps that are very, very strong, very sort of neck and neck in power level. So maybe players will overreact to it, but I'm not sure.
It did seem that Lucian was incredibly strong, and I wonder how much the Titans Resolve, that's right, how much that item had to do with it, because he was stacking it rather quickly, and it's just flat damage increase when you look at it. I mean, 50% damage increase. He was getting to that 50 stage pretty quick, and I didn't exactly see every time that he reached 100 or if he was reaching 100 consistently, but doubling your damage is a pretty good thing, right? That's pretty good. So Lucian seems to be a good target for that, as he does stay alive deep into the match, especially if you get good items for your Senna. I just wonder if there were 2 other items that could have been better to complement that Titans Resolve. Do you think of any items in particular that could have fit best there?
I mean, Jewel Gauntlet Infinity Edge, I think making sure that every single hit of his auto attacks, or near every single hit of Lucian's auto attacks, and the calling there will proc the Titan's Resolve to stack it even faster. Getting to that higher threshold of damage even faster might make the difference between winning and losing some of those fights. Say if that was the case in that last match there, instead of the 2 Hand of Justices, maybe even though there was a Singe with a Morello's, still Lucian would have output enough damage to make the difference in getting that victory.
Well, I would personally absolutely love to see exactly that adaptation on a Lucian. It did seem very good. The Lucian Senna comp, the buffs that had come in for Senna, the buffs to lights definitely seemed to make a huge difference. It does look like a very strong composition. I expect to see it again. It would be very cool to see those exact 3 items on a Lucian, though, if someone comes across the right items and ends up having that comp. But yeah, I mean, we're going into our next game. We're going to start out with the POV of Exkeepcallin, and we're going to have to see kind of that mad dash for the first item. I'm always excited to see where the spatula goes if we get one, and what people decide to do with it, where the creativity comes out with that item.
There is indeed a spatula here on the Volibear. A couple of players maybe looking to go for it. Oh, just one. Yui picks up the Volibear with the spatula there.
I swear Leona is bugged? What do you mean?
Exkeepcallin with the sword. Yeah, a smattering of items here. Didn't seem like people were really going for much of the same thing.
Yeah, actually, you know, it's very interesting. The slight change to the carousel, as you said, it's just kind of like slower to load. Has really changed the meta of people going for items, because in the last few fight nights we always see just a conglomerate of like maybe 6 of the 8 players all running at the same item at the start, and now I mean that looked like everyone, like you said, was kind of going for different things. I mean Yui was able to pick up a spatula completely uncontested. Very different game with that change.
A little bit. I mean, there was the opportunity for 1 or maybe 4 players max to contest that, but they all decided to go to different items to go for different routes. But obviously, while Blender has been nerfed, maybe people aren't quite going to be prioritizing that as much as that was we go spat. Boom. Okay, we can go Blender now, but it's a lot less unsure of this meta.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Yui does with that spatula. We'll definitely be keeping eyes on her. And yeah, so far she's just got a bunch of 1 cost, no pairs yet, which is unfortunate. You hate to see that, but obviously it's very early in the game, so just gonna have to wait around, see what people go, see what compositions people are trying for. A couple predators picked up. We'll see if that Skarner gets grabbed too. Yeah, that's gonna be quite a few early preds.
Indeed, having a pair of Warwicks. I mean, Warwick, I'm not sure if people would really want to run. I know Rek'Sai very strong, Skarner very strong in the Predator compositions, but I mean, Warwick is going to be easier to tier 3, given that he is a 1 cost unit. I don't think really Spatula is exactly going to be that useful in a Predator composition. Maybe getting a Force of Nature. But besides that, I don't really see any of the class-changing Spatulas.
It's a Nico's too for you.
Yeah.
This start doesn't seem very good.
Kind of awkward. A few items here. Actually, like that Nico's will probably not see play until the mid game. I don't think you want to commit to an Inferno Spat or a Assassin Spat, nor the Gunblade either. So it's just gonna be a lot of items on the bench here, and we'll just see what Yui's able to pick up in the future.
Yeah, and that's a tier 2 Leona for Yui, which is potentially not going to be played right now, of course, because of the Predators. Synergy being pretty strong early game, even if they are all 1 cost.
Yeah, I probably would value playing the tier 2 Leona here over 3 Predators. 3 Predators all tier 1 with no items. Not sure exactly how strong that's going to be over a tier 2 Leona. Is going to be insanely tanky. Might have chose to play the 2 Wardens there, but I think that Yui is going to win regardless, perhaps, unless that Soraka is able to output enough DPS here. But no.
Of course, my results-based analysis says that this is obviously the correct decision to keep these 3 Preds in.
Of course.
Clearly the correct decision. Yeah. Never punished. But yeah, we're going to have to see where Yui decides to go with this. If she decides to kind of commit to the Preds, not seeing any more right now, and has a couple tier 2 units. So, of course, we're going to see those get put in. Now it's just a matter of if the Preds are going to get sold off. She doesn't have that many of them, so I assume so as well, yeah.
You see Bububoosh here with 3 lights. Yeah, that's Soraka. She was trying to pump some DPS during the last fight, but not able to do quite enough. Tier 2 Vlad here as sort of one of the frontliners, the tanks for Bububoosh here. I wonder how that will shape up versus Exkeepcallin. I mean, Bububoosh did aggressively level up to 4 here, whereas Exkeepcallin is level 3.
Yeah, a couple of Preds for Exkeepcallin as well. Not in currently, but does have 2 Kog'Maws on the bench and a tier 2 Warwick. So I'm not sure if that's something that they will look for in the future or not. But right now, this Vladimir kind of holding his own in the front line. Probably going to be able to win this round for Bububoosh. The Diana trying to do their very best, but that's going to be one more transfusion. And that'll take down Exkeepcallin. Just a small amount of damage done to him there. A lot of pairs, as we mentioned, for Bububoosh. He's got a couple Kog'Maws, a couple Sennas.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see that light come out, that light soulbound composition being picked up by Bububoosh in the future. I would like to see it again. I really am interested in kind of where that comp can go, the different directions that it can go. So I do hope to see people kind of experimenting with it. That would be a tier 2 Kog'Maw if he wants it.
Yeah, I think Bububoosh is deciding out, obviously, whether he wants to pick that up or not and play it, and does decide to do so. Plays it over the Soraka, which means, yeah, might even play, yeah, just none of the lights. I suppose keeping the Nasus in, but does put the Morellas on the Senna, is committing to at least the Senna, which makes me think it's going to be soulbound lights, especially because of keeping the Aatrox and the Soraka there. But it could somehow be Rangers going into the mid game.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to see. I guess it really does a lot come down to what he is offered. If he's offered a lot of one way or the other, it would definitely influence his decision. But for now, we have the Kog'Maw in and the Kog'Maw dead. That's going to be 1 round lost. But sitting at 10 gold, sitting on quite a few good-looking units, kind of the makings of that light comp. And we're just going to have to see if he hits those upgrades.
Yeah, and only being on 10 gold right now, I think, is what players don't generally want to be on. You at least want to be on 20 gold, I think, after this carousel, and it's going to be impossible for Bububoosh to do unless he does choose to sell those lights. So we'll be a bit behind in econ committing to all of those. I wonder if that'll make the difference in just being too poor to afford, say, finding a Lucian 2 during the mid game, unless he high rolls and gets really lucky.
Yeah, we saw Bububoosh kind of mouse overing that Spatula kind of the whole time. It did get passed up by Fluffy and Leto, so he was able to pick it up. What item are you thinking he may want to be going with this spat picked up,
light,
considering his comp? Just a light item, probably going to be for...
Already cloak on the Senna, it's going on the Senna 100%.
Yeah, okay.
Which will be able to fit in 3 light synergy right here. Yep, it's committed. All right. So soulbound lights commitment from Bububoosh. We'll see if that's going to be enough.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, he's really looking for that one more Senna, get that tier 2. Definitely going to be a huge upgrade if he can find it. And then from there, I mean, he really needs a Lucian and basically every other light. Start committing to it. Start getting them. Like we said, sitting on not a lot of gold so far. So he's probably going to try to econ a little bit. And he's hoping that he can win some of these rounds.
Yeah, I mean, already has 5 lights here, I believe. Yeah, between Aatrox, Nasus, Senna now, and Soraka Vayne. So might even go 6 lights as soon as level 6 is achieved, depending on if a Lucian, Jax, Lucian or a Jax is found, or a Yorick. That's the other one. So it has some options here.
Yeah, and able to start winning rounds already, it seems. So that's definitely an improvement here that was against Saucy. So someone who is higher HP.
All right, checking in with Fluffy here. Has committed to the Guardian Angel and has a Vayne with a bow. There is, however, a Brawler's Glove on the bench there, and I believe that makes Last Whisper, which has a chance to reduce the enemy armor by, I believe it's 90%.
Yep, 90%.
Yeah, though a huge boost for any Ranger compositions for sure. And we see a couple of Rangers being played by Fluffy here, but doesn't want to commit to that item quite yet, but maybe we'll see that in the future.
There's not much else though.
Yeah, maybe he's trying to see if he can snag a couple more of those Rangers before committing, but so far he is one of the lower HP people, but it's very early in the game still.
Yeah.
Does have this tier 2 Renekton trying to fight off this composition.
tier 2 Kiana by Zeno at level 4 here. Not something you see every
Yeah,
day.
that is rather early, actually. I was thinking about that. I saw it, and I was like, damn, that Kiana's kind of slapping. And then you mentioned that, and I noticed, yeah, it's a tier 2 Kiana. Definitely
Indeed.
quite early for that to be picked up. Very strong unit.
Probably got one off of the carousel, I believe, because it had the rod. Yeah, Kiana had the rod on her already, so maybe just naturally found 2.
Yeah. Now, it probably won't happen, but it's a very early tier 2, and tier 3 Kiana was actually buffed quite heavily.
Yeah,
it was like 400 extra damage or something on the ultimate.
Yeah, it was like quite
it was
a
something
sizable
really
damage.
ridiculous, like a very ridiculous amount. But obviously you don't see a tier 3 Kiana basically ever. Would just be interesting if getting that this early can happen to turn into a tier 3 Kiana and we get to see it.
It's definitely possible. I mean, tier 3, yeah, 3 cost tier 3 units are achievable, I believe. You know, last time on Fight Night when we saw H2, I think we saw some Vigar 3s there. So it definitely is achievable if that's the route that who was it? Zeno wants to go.
Yeah, and I mean, for now, that tier 2 Kiana is definitely going to carry quite a few rounds for Zeno on the hot streak already. But I don't expect a tier 2 Kiana to lose for a little while at least, unless his composition around it is quite bad. I don't know if we got a great look at the entire thing, but would love to take a look at the rest of what he's holding on to.
Yeah, for now we see Fluffy with the 3 lights still, that Renekton and the Vayne. Has tier 2 Varus now though, facing Bububoosh with the tier 2 Senna now with the light spat. Is that going to be strong enough here to take out Fluffy? Ooh, huge Varus arrow there, piercing arrow.
That was massive. That was
a
bit actually. Pretty much kind of wiped the board there. Fluffy is very strong actually. A lot of gold too to his name with 40 right now. So able to econ pretty well and kind of lean into these future compositions. We're going to have to just keep an eye on Fluffy as this game continues, picking up another Senna as well. So kind of going for maybe that soulbound synergy also.
Yeah, I think so. Guardian's Angel has already been committed, so that is one of the key items indeed on the Senna. So maybe a route that looks to go soulbound in the future. We see Zeno here, level 6, 40 gold, 94 HP, a 5-win streak. Doesn't decide to commit to the Locket. Locket is indeed one of those items that has been changed, and the shielding now is affected by the unit's star level. So not wanting to make it on a tier 2 unit, as it would be worse than before on the previous patch.
Yeah, and this round actually looking kind of bad for Zeno, as we talk about kind of joining people and them starting to lose, but runs into a Ranger composition. This is actually Fluffy, I believe. Oh no, it's Exkeepcallin. Exkeepcallin's Rangers. And yeah, that's a pretty strong Vayne, pretty stacked already. 2 completed items, a BF sword on top of that. Able to kind of push through Zeno's comp, and Kiana not able to get on the priority targets there.
Yeah, I might want to check in with Exkeepcallin in the future there, because I think that Rangers indeed can be viable during this patch. And I think that, as we talked about earlier, that Vayne being the item carrier in the early game. I mean, Exkeepcallin is sort of middle of the pack, 75 HP right now, but seems to have hit their stride here in the mid game with those Rangers. And Ashe being offered to Zeno here, but this is not a Rangers composition on this end. So,
no, I'm sure a lot of the other players would actually be really happy seeing an Ashe right now, but of course, Zeno, one of the few who does not want it. Zeno is sitting on a Nikos, so we may want to keep our eyes on that in the future as well, but it looks like right now going up against Sasu, who is our HP leader, and it looks like Sasu will be able to hold on. I mean, Tiber's very tanky, especially at this stage of the game. And that Vladimir quite tanky as well in his own right.
Indeed. Has a Guardian Angel and Ludens on him as well. We check in with Exkeepcallin, who is able to, again, win another round after going to level 6 on a 2-win streak now. As we're heading into the carousel, he does pick second here, so probably will get to have an item of choice, whether it be a bow to make a double Giant Slayer. We will see. There is a Twitch offered there.
Silnetto
must
grabs
be
the
smart.
spat too, so
Yeah.
I do want to check in when we can and see what he does with that. But yeah, you mentioned the Twitch. It does get taken by Exkeepcallin, who is Ranger. So we may see that played actually.
Yeah, a little bit of indecisiveness there in deciding if he wanted to take that or not, but does end up doing so. So it will most definitely be played. We'll just have to see whether items are committing to items are committed to it. Okay, who knows? Maybe not.
Oh, he's thinking about it. He's thinking about it. We'll see. We'll see if Exkeepcallin decides to commit to the Twitch. Twitch did see a very small buff. I believe Mordog mentioned that he did not want to buff Twitch because he wasn't sure where the meta would be, but was a small buff so far. Gonna play it, not commit the items yet.
Yeah, hopefully
Gonna play both of them. Takes out the Varus.
Oh man, but we'll see if the Twitch is able to pop off. With these buffs that Twitch has received, I've seen him be a decent item user, a hyper carry of sorts. But I'm not quite sure the exact power level of Twitch, so maybe we'll see that this game.
Yeah,
Oh, the
maybe.
Siren Plants? Ooh,
It's
almost.
actually very close against Silnetto, who actually I may have missed, but I think there was an infernal spat that was used.
Yeah, I believe so. In fact, we'll see. There's a static shiv on the bench as well, so maybe if that was used,
Yeah,
would have
look, it's
netted a
on,
round win. Yeah,
Malphite, right?
Malphite.
Yeah.
Mhm. With 6
Infernal
Infernos
Malphite.
and Summoners. I mean, we see 38 HP here, but this composition with the 6 Inferno power spike is going to be pretty powerful. So looking to have a mid-game win streak to, catch back up in terms of the HP. Also 0 gold as well, though, so going to need to win streak there, or it's
Yeah.
going to be pretty doomed.
That's looking pretty rough. When you're this low, you just lose a round and you're on 0 gold. It's definitely looking tough, but maybe with the static shiv being brought in, it will help out a little bit. That's a pretty big piercing arrow from the Varus going across the team
With the Annie, it
of
solidifies it.
Bububoosh. And yeah, that's going to be enough there, especially with that Tibbers coming out, as you mentioned, going to kind of secure that victory. And his composition is still pretty strong,
Yeah.
but when you're on 0 gold, pretty strong is not really what you're looking for. You definitely want to be winning a bit harder than that, because right now his power level is probably not going to be going up anytime soon unless he gets very lucky on these rolls.
Yeah,
And we may see a lot of these other people with a lot more gold start to get very, very strong.
Indeed, I 100% agree with that analysis there. I mean, the high rolling has to happen here. Finding a Yorick 2, I think, might save that. I mean, finding a Malphite 2, Kiana 2, Annie 2 would help, but I think Yorick 2 is definitely going to be the most desired unit there. But we
Yeah,
will see.
absolutely. I think Annie 2 is another big one. I think the summoners are definitely going to be the game changers for Silnetto. He really needs to find those. I believe Annie 2 actually did have a small buff on this patch, Annie 3 having a much larger buff, but Annie 1 being slightly weaker. So definitely getting that upgrade will be a little bit more helpful. But in general, yes, the summoners, especially the Yorick being a Flavor of the Month unit, having those Thieves Gloves on him, going to be pretty important to get that upgrade.
Of course, and there is a Kiana 2. So Kiana 2 still a really good unit. We have discussed the Kiana nerf a little bit, but still a solid one there. The 0.5 seconds off the stun isn't really going to make or break rounds. I believe that's more so of like a Shojin interaction of her like perma-stunning units almost. But up to 10 gold now here. Can the win streak happen, though? That is the question.
Yeah, we're going to have to see if Silnetto can pull this one off here. If that Malphite can get an ultimate off, it would be huge. Well, that was the wrong Malphite. And Silnetto's going to take a lot of damage from that unstoppable force coming across. But the Tibbers is out, going to be tanking for this Varus. And Varus is still pumping out quite a bit of damage. Those Inferno Hexes are burning away. But this Leona is so tanky, but not tanky enough. Silnetto just barely able to win that round. That's incredibly important to try and continue the stabilization of this comp, trying to find these pieces. Not getting anything yet, looking a little bit rough for him as we jump over to Bububoosh, who has been able to complete the 6 Light 2 Soulbound.
Yeah.
And that's looking pretty good. 2 Mystic as well out there already.
Yeah, with the Karma and the Soraka. Now, okay, interesting. How do you utilize Karma in this light Soulbound composition if you're going to run Lunars, which it looks like Bububoosh is going to do? Do you decide to buff Senna? Do you decide to buff Lucian? When Lucian dies, he won't receive shields anymore, but Bububoosh for now is deciding to buff the Soraka with the Karma shields. But what is going to be the most efficient way of doing that? I'm curious. I'm not exactly sure of the answer myself.
Yeah, that's actually very interesting because part of me thinks that Lucian would be a good pairing, at least to start out, to get some damage out. Of course, he is going to die, and as you said, he won't get shields after that. But maybe it changes depending on the items and the tiers of the units as well, because even though the Lucian is a good carry, right now it's tier 1, so maybe putting it on Senna or putting it on Soraka as he has it on now might be better until he gets an upgrade on that damage dealer to make it more effective, per auto attack damage with the attack speed bonus.
Indeed. I mean, Senna doesn't have a Guardian's Angel. I mean, definitely has a couple of vests there, so we'll be looking to go Guardian's Angel. But Bububoosh is also going to be last pick on the carousel, at least as it stands now, being the HP leader in this lobby. So it will be probably up to luck of people passing up with that item or off the Raptors round. That's going to be the last chance to secure that Guardian's Angel. If that isn't achieved, then maybe Karma buffing the Senna, that she'll live even longer, is going to be the route there. But who knows? We'll have to see into the future as you see Exkeepcallin here with that Twitch hyper carry, double giant Slayer Runehands. That's doing a ton of damage there.
Yeah, that's kind of like a 3-4 item Twitch on Summoner's Rift, kind of rat-a-tat-tat shredding through the enemy team there with that Runehands. I mean, looking pretty good. Definitely seems like good item choices for the Twitch. Really did drop the composition of Bububoosh pretty quickly, and I'm excited to see how that kind of transforms from there. I did not see if that was a tier 2 Twitch. I didn't think it was, but I could have been wrong. I thought it was just tier 1.
Yeah, I believe it was tier 1 as well, but still doing enough damage. I think there's poison in there as well, though, with the Morella's Singed, which does have a really, really big impact, especially going versus the lights there. But even still, Twitch doing a ton of damage.
Yeah, so if we can see him get to that tier 2 Twitch, I mean, that could be very scary. And the item choices seemed very good. I mean, he melted the entire composition.
Yeah, oh my. Boosh being very aggressive with that gold. They're leveling up to 8 with 0 gold left. There is the Lucian here. I mean, probably will just lock for it, I would assume. Yeah, considered selling that Senna, but that's, 3 away from a tier 3 Senna there. Yeah, and that's going to be... is that going to be a Bramble Vest? Is that going to be a Titan's Resolve? I wonder which one Bububoosh will want to commit to here. Once he picks up that other Lucian in the shop next round, it will combine the items to make that Titan's Resolve. As we see here, going up against Zeno. Not going to be strong enough. In fact, the Lux outputting so much damage there at the Infernos.
Yeah, he is going to drop there. Sorry, I was just thinking that he's probably going to want to hold on to one of those vests because he still needs that Guardian's Angel. So I think there's no way that it's going to be a Bramble Vest. Still going to hold on. I like locking there because he still had a lot of HP to play with.
Definitely.
Being able to just kind of hang on to that and being able to buy the units that he needs. There was also a Tarek on that board as well. So maybe there's some consideration towards that as just being a strong unit for later in the game. But anyways,
this is
on Yui now. Yeah, go ahead and break down Yui's comp for us here because we see it yet again. This is a Blade Master Azir.
Yeah, Blade Master Azir with a Shojin's and a Death Cap. Azir indeed was buffed in the last patch, and I think he was already a solid unit before that. But we see Yui facing Sasso here with a huge front line, but the composition of 4 Blade Masters, I think it's just going to be allowing Azir to pop off, but he's CC'd by multiple Namis here, not being able to really output the damage that he needs to, as Yui drops to 12 HP here. Meadow, though, falling, so not last place for Yui, but definitely close to, not too far behind, rather.
Yui's composition was kind of like the wave pool at a water park if they had gone to the max setting. They're just all getting knocked around, not being able to play. play the game at all. Just kind of tidal waves back and forth. No time for reprieve. No time for any damage coming out. Even though this is a very like powerful composition of the four Blade Masters, a lot of DPS can be done, but they can't do a lot of DPS when the whole entire team is crowd controlled.
Yeah, at the mercy of the ocean there for the last round is a scary, scary force there. Nami, of course, a very powerful unit, and we saw the power there. I think Yui will want to go to level 8 next round and put in that Soraka, which does give her both 3 lights and 2 mystics, so a big power spike there. But there is also the potential on the bench now for a light spatula. Picks up the Amumu, maybe wants to run that. I'm not sure. I definitely am curious to see what happens here.
The other thing I'm considering, though, right? So there's the light spatula available.
Yeah.
But there's also a Blade Master spatula available.
That
is there
also
ever a
true.
world for a 6 Blade Masters setup? Ooh, is that a Nico on the Yorick? Okay, to get the tier 2 Yorick. I mean, you talked about the value of tier 2 Yorick, but this is against
so interesting.
A tier 2 Amumu that could have been instead.
There's so many options that could have happened there for both what to put in for synergies. 3 lights is not in now. The Soraka was not put in. I think Yui was trying to think about all these options as well.
Here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The Yorick is still alive. It will be able to do enough. The Sivir is alive as well, getting buffed up by the light healing, disarming that Diana.
Yeah, it's kind of just this karma at this point. The Sivir is pretty buffed up by the light. Going to try and pump through this karma really fast, but that's going to be a shield coming out, but that's not going to be enough. Karma doesn't really do that much damage and does get disarmed. But I'm just kind of perplexed. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second there because the Amumu, it just feels like getting that tier 2 Amumu could have been really good, but this committing to the Yorick instead, it did seem like Yui kind of got flustered and ran out of time towards the end there. And ended up with an extra tier 1 Aatrox in, which obviously was not the intended opportunity there. So very fortunate that Yui was able to still win that round. But
yeah, okay, decides to take out the Amumu and put it in the Nami. I'm curious about a world where that was either a tier 3 Sivir with the Nikos or a tier 2 Amumu. I think both of those, I mean, all 3 of those are very, very strong options. You know, we've talked about Yorick too and the power of it in the past here, but yeah, I mean, she is stabilizing as we see here. I think going to be able to take out this Senna. The Guardian's Angel was indeed achieved by Bububoosh, but it is not enough. The Sivir is doing so much damage. The Nami wave is impactful. The Yorick 2 is indeed a huge threat in having summoners and lights. So
yeah, we did lose still Neto in 8th, and we lost Saucy in 7th. Saucy actually got 2nd in the last round, so dropping down to kind of the flip side of that and getting 7th this time around. Very unfortunate out of her, but we're on. EricThomas does have that Zed. 4 Warden, 2 Mystic.
Tier 2 Amumu. Going to be facing Bububoosh here. We see this soulbound composition again, and yeah, that's a Titan Resolve Lucian. It's hitting the Zed. The Zed's not really able to do anything right now.
Really good for Bububoosh, but we're gonna see if that's able to continue. A big knockout coming out. The Zed is staying alive, not proccing that redemption quite yet, but here it's gonna come out. A couple of them are gonna come down trying to heal people up. But that's going to be another big Amumu ult on the backside trying to stun people down, but Lucian still being able to do all the damage, and Bububoosh is actually going to take that round. That soulbound still seeming pretty strong every time we see it. We do see Yui go down there, going to fall in 6th place, was not able to stabilize quite enough. That's a cinch with a Hush being picked up.
Yeah, Lucian with the Guardian's Angel. A lot of good items here between the Hush, Guardian's Angel. There's the Thieves' Gloves option there. Just a lot of different choices there. We'll see what these players decide to utilize, you know, what they deem as the strongest for these upcoming rounds. You see EricThomas here has the tier 2 Mumu, has the GA, probably wants to put that GA on the Mumu, has a tier 2 Zed as well. That is huge. You know, perhaps last round probably would have been won if that was a tier 2 Zed, but wants to find the Taric now.
So interesting to me because it's actually very few synergies. It's 4 Wardens, 2 Mystics, no offensive synergies, but just a bunch of kind of powerful units. I mean, Taric, tier 2 Amumu, tier 2 Zed. Zed being buffed up by this karma, I mean, it might be enough to win some rounds. We did see it barely lose to Bububoosh, but I guess we're going to see it continuing forward. That is a tier 2 Twitch and a tier 2 Singed on the other side here for this Poison's composition. I'm watching that Zed to see if he can get onto this Twitch at any point. We got the rat-a-tat-tat coming out, popping down everybody there, and EricThomas probably going to actually go all the way down here. Yes,
exactly.
Exact lethal. EricThomas going to go out in 5th.
Oh,
that Twitch is terrifying.
Man, losing with just finding your tier 2 Zed, having a tier 2 Amumu, that is really, really unfortunate for EricThomas, unfortunately, going out in 5th place there, not achieving the top 4. But, I mean, Exkeepcallin, that composition is so powerful right now. Probably want to check in a bit more with him very, very soon here. As you see Zeno with a tier 2 Lux, though, 6 Infernos. That's going to be a powerhouse going into this round here versus Fluffy.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to watch and see if he can take down Fluffy here. We see that tier 2 Yorick in the front line. We've talked about so much, but that final spark, final flame with the Inferno Lux coming across, taking down so many units. And that's not going to be enough for Bububoosh to hold on, or sorry, Fluffy to hold on. Bububoosh also falling at the same time, going up against Exkeepcallin. And we're going to have a 1v1 here as we check out Exkeepcallin's board, as you can break down this Poison Ranger Glacial composition for me here, Khroen.
Another death cap on the dragon. First things first, that's going to be double death cap Singe with the Morellos at tier 2. That's going to be doing so much damage. Holy moly. Will Zeno be able to keep up with it? I don't know. But it depends on that Lux. But yeah, here with Exkeepcallin, there's 3 Poison, 4 Ranger, 4 Glacial. Glacial with the Braum, the Ezreal, and indeed the Lux. She's going to be outputting a decent amount of damage. Maybe even Exkeepcallin's going to go to level 9 here. It looks like that is being considered here. It's either that or rolling for Lux 2. That's really the only thing that Exkeepcallin can do here. I mean, probably not going for any tier 3 units here. But we'll see. Maybe decides to greed around because, you know, being on a win streak at 51 HP right now, HP is indeed a resource, and doing just that. Being like, I probably can win this round regardless, but even if I lose, it's not enough to kill me, so I can go to level 9, have enough gold to roll down, and find some significant upgrades to my comp.
Yeah, and let's see how this plays out. The Singed running into the backline, gets clipped by Lux and actually dies pretty much instantly. Twitch finally popping that rat-a-tat-tat, popping off tons of damage onto the backline. Can he get on the Twitch? And yes, he does. That was actually incredibly close, though, because the Lux popped the Singed at the very start of that round. If that doesn't happen, Zeno actually loses so hard. But instantly popping that Singed, if that Lux was able to get one more off at the Twitch, that's what has to happen for Zeno to win. But it's such an uphill battle right now as Exkeepcallin does actually level to 9 here. Gonna spend all that money and pick up a Nami to send that tidal wave to help that CC out, kind of help this Twitch keep going.
Yeah, I even would have been curious to see what was it? To see the karma there buffing the Twitch. Maybe that would be a good, but Science to go last crystals second, as well.
Yeah, last second puts crystals in. We're gonna watch the Singed again. Doesn't get popped this time. Able to get some damage out. Twitch still alive in the back line. Can get zapped down actually. Will be dead, and the Singed is gonna fall. This is actually enough. Wow. Maybe it's not so much the Singed as it is the Twitch that has to die immediately, because the Singed might be a little bit too slow and not tanky enough to kill off Zeno's comp. But the Twitch, as soon as he pops that rat-a-tat-tat, keeps popping unit after unit, going around killing Zeno's entire composition. So it's all about these Lux final sparks coming across. And we're just going to have to see how the RNG falls. Maybe there's some positioning changes that can happen. The crystal didn't seem to do that much, so I kind of like this.
Mystics.
Nami coming in, Mystics trying to protect against that Lux damage, try and get some more crowd control. Thieves Glove's going to go on to Nami. Gonna see how this happens. That's huge. Seraph's is actually very big, but the Lux is not gonna let it happen. Another one coming across, but doesn't get onto the Twitch, and we're gonna see Twitch popping off again, killing off every unit, and that might actually do it.
Close.
Down to 2 HP. Zeno's got second life to come back and try and save this.
That's an Inferno spot right there. Can we see a 9 Inferno? Is that possible? I wonder, player. I mean, that must be part of the thought process there, but no, Zeno going for the Amumu and has a Nico, so that's gonna be a tier 2 Amumu. Maybe that's going to be the difference here.
It is me, the winner.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's just going to still come down to the RNG of this Lux. If the Lux can pick off the Twitch, that's the difference. It almost seems as though there's nothing else that Zeno can do because the Twitch is just ripping apart his composition. He has the tool, but it's not a positioning tool because Lux's targeting AI seems very random. It's just picking targets and killing them off. So it has to pick the right one.
Yeah, Zephyr here, though, on the bench of Exkeepcallin, wanting to be able to Zephyr that Lux. Is that going to be possible here? Oh, decides to do it on the Mumu instead. All right.
Up, watching the Twitch, the Lux going to try and take down the Singe. 2 ults in the wrong direction, not being able to get any kills there except for on the Singe. The Twitch is going to get stunned by the Mumu, and that's going to be one more laser. But that's probably going to be enough as the Lux stays alive to the very end. There's going to be a little bit of damage onto Exkeepcallin, but that's not enough yet. Zeno needs a couple more of those in order to win, or a bigger win, if that. Twitch, though, still staying alive quite a long time, but the Amumu was so important there. It was able to step up enough to get the stun onto Twitch, and that was all the difference.
Indeed, there's very, very, very small room or margin for error here within the. It just comes down to fight RNG a lot of times. You know, as we talked about with the Lux ultimates, maybe even 4 Mystics is something that Exkeepcallin would want to consider here, but it's still sticking with 2 for now. But did find that tier 2 Nami going to this fight. Zephyr's the Lux.
Zephyr's on the Lux. The Twitch right now is popping off a lot of damage. We're gonna see if the Lux can go. Amumu with a huge Curse of the Sad Mummy does get a lot of members, but the Twitch is still alive. And he takes down the Lux, and that's going to be the game. Zeno going to go down, and Exkeepcallin is able to take a first place in round 2 of 4 in the very first Fight Night Rising.
Oh man, that was intense back and forth there at the end. I love when rounds go like that. It just comes down to what players will decide to tech in, you know, Zephyr placements, teching in Mystics, positioning your Lux, and maybe hoping that she just gets lucky and kills the Twitch. It all comes down to very, very, very slight differences there. But Exkeepcallin is able indeed to take that game, putting him at 17 points, but Zeno, consistent player, netting a 3rd place into a 2nd place, the lobby leader here with 22 points, guys.
Yeah, and Bububoosh also at 21, able to grab a 4th place there, still a good finish. Fluffy being very consistent in that 4-3 slot. And, you know, Exkeepcallin had a bad first round, but able to bring himself back into this tournament, into this fight night at 17 points, not far behind the leader. And we have 2 more exciting games coming at you here on Giant Slayer TV just after a short break.
Welcome back, everyone, to the first Fight Night Rising tournament here tonight. We've seen some great 10.1 action of players innovating some really, really cool compositions here tonight. We've seen some really intense top 5 scenarios and that back and forth top 2 scenario last game. These games are super exciting here, Cass. How are you enjoying them?
Oh, they are great. I'm so excited to see what else we're going to see tonight as far as compositional changes from people. So far, we've seen just a lot of that light, that kind of the light soulbound compositions. We saw a Predator victory. We've seen a lot of different variations on a lot of different compositions so far. Infernos, different spatula uses. It's just been very exciting, and I'm really excited to see how it goes going forward.
Yeah, is there any player that has impressed you so far that you're looking to really make a huge impact in the next couple of games?
You know, I'm interested to see how Saucy turns it around. Had a very good first game and not so good second game. And we have seen players be a little bit inconsistent in the past, but sometimes they just have one bad game. And I'm excited to see if Saucy is able to bring it all the way back up to that kind of top tier, able to maybe make it into the top 3, top 4 of the finals for this fight night.
Yeah, I believe Saucy was only 6 points behind first place. I mean, I think that those top 6 or top 5 players there, really, really close in points there. Personally, I'll be looking, I think, at Bububoosh, top 4 both games in first place in the first game. So a player that has definitely stood out to me thus far. but Zeno is still ahead. So a lot of good competition here right at the top as we head into game number 3.
Thank you.
We're gonna have to
Hooking
watch
it up.
this carousel yet again, see who's going for those spatulas, see what everyone is picking up.
Yo, I think I play
Definitely,
better with no music, 'cause
I'm
this
so
monster
interested
cat
to
is
see
kinda
every time we
annoying.
get a spatula on this patch because it has been
It's just a lot
different. It
of
used to
blah,
just be
blah.
like, okay, they're going blender, but now we see, especially the lights,
Yeah,
a
Yeah.
this is
lot
game
more of
3.
that,
We're on game
and
3
some
right
of
now. We
the,
got one more
we saw an
after this.
infernal
Alright.
spatula used last time. I haven't
Yeah.
actually seen any fawns.
Someone help me with
Everyone's
that.
been
I
using.
think we have
Did we
seen
get one?
one. We did
get
get one,
one?
I believe, in the first game. I think it was Bububoosh who had the fawn, but I know we did see one pretty early on. It was at the second carousel.
Oh, you're right.
That is
You're
able to
right.
pick that up super early on. So yeah, but yeah, we've seen fawn, we've seen
Oh my God,
Inferno,
look at
we've seen
this.
Light and Blade Master. Seen some Blade Master
Give me the rod,
Azirs.
give me the rod.
Exkeepcallin
Got the
going for
rod.
that bow there. And the spatula was indeed picked up. Who's that by? I believe
Still
still
Meadow,
Neto.
yeah.
Yeah.
Still Meadow's gonna be the one who grabs it this time around. We're gonna
Who's
see
Jimmy,
what he
bro?
decides to do
My
with it.
name's Brandon.
I think there's been spatulas every game so far. And another Inferno map increasing the attack speed of unit that you will place in that hex. It is on a Volibear. I wonder if it'll be kept for a potential electric or be sold off. Bows are very good for rangers and soulbound compositions. Getting a giant slayer on the Lucian or like static shivs for your rangers. We saw the double giant slayer twitch there in the last game, which netted a victory. So maybe sort of that's what's going to be on players' radars now in terms of a strong composition.
Yeah, we see no items here for Exkeepcallin. Is gonna get
Nope.
a Thresh and
I
LeBlanc
think it
instead, so
helps
gonna
that I
sell that
talk
off for
every
gold
playthrough.
by
Yeah.
most
is
of
it
his
considered
board,
cheating if I get
ignoring the
advice
Woodland
from Twitch
Druids,
chat?
which did see a buff,
not
and
right.
we have seen a lot of the time in other fight nights people running Woodland Druids early game in order to scale up into their composition. So interesting that we actually have not seen that really at all today.
shit.
Even though it was buffed and it has historically been something we've seen quite a bit of.
Yeah, definitely. I'm curious, the very quick sell of all those units there. I mean,
That's shitty.
maybe Exkeepcallin definitely
Oh,
wants to
thank you.
go for 10 gold
'Cause at the
here.
end of the day,
But
game
having a
one
pair of
makes
Leonas, I
sense,
think, is
like,
very
you
strong.
think it's a
Lunars
good
are
play.
good, especially in the early game. They fall off a bit later, but okay, another bow is picked up there, so maybe we will see that
Gold, so
Ranger
trying to say
or that
couldn't take it
Soulbound
as a good
composition
thing?
here.
Alright.
Yeah, maybe we will. Does
bows
grab
is
a couple
unlucky.
wardens there to
Yeah.
pair up with his Leona.
Yeah.
We go on over to Fluffy's board, and we do see that is going to be a needlessly large rod, as well as a bow and a crit glove.
Yeah, finds the tier 2 Warwick and does decide to commit to it. Probably not a unit that Fluffy will commit to, but just plays it for the solid tier 2 power spike right now. Not any other predators, though, at least for now. Has a couple of wardens. We'll see. There probably will be a couple of some gold drop here. It could be an item, but yeah, there's gonna be 3 gold with that Ezreal. Maybe we'll decide to keep it though and play it. We will see.
I was thinking about going for
Decides to buy the Malzahar as well, and giving some options here.
Pretty good at this point in the game.
Yeah, there's another Nasus, so that's a pair.
Yeah.
Gonna probably sell off some of the individual units here eventually. We'll see. That's gonna be
Yeah.
Glacial in for now.
Okay. I was considering a route where Fluffy would want to make 10 gold there and selling that Ezreal, but does decide to, in fact, put 3 Glacials in. I don't think I've ever seen a round 1 3 Glacial with every single unit being Glacial so far, but innovations, we're seeing something new, deciding to put that bow on the Ezreal as well for just the early game bit of power spike facing Leto here, and Leto does have the spatula, so maybe a force in nature, but we will see. Also see how Fluffy does here with these glacials. Some glacial procs already coming out here.
Yeah, keeping that Nasus pretty locked down and actually going to get the Glacial proc onto the tier 2 Talia as well. Tier 2 Talia not actually being able to put out enough damage, and the Glacial's kind of paying off, keeping most of the composition of Leto CC'd the entire time. Looking over at Neto's bench, I did see we do have the Spatula, the Giant's Belt, and it did look like a BF Sword was the other item. So definitely a couple things over there that we'll have to keep our eyes out for. Neither of those really being spatula options you would expect. So we'll have to see if he goes for the Fawn.
Yeah, probably not, but it could be, something else later. But a Fawn definitely an appealing option, especially in this meta. I think, I'm thinking about it, and Lunar is a synergy, or Mystics is a synergy that a lot of people want to fit just like a two of in. And having a Force of Nature getting to that level 7 and level 8 mark just allows you to fit one extra synergy that ends up being really, really impactful. So I would say, I mean, Fawn obviously just a very strong item throughout all of set 1 and set 2, but maybe even more valuable now in some sense.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna see these Nasus go at each other. That's gonna be a Frozen Heart, which also received buffs. Well, changes in this patch.
Yeah.
I would consider them buffs, of course, because on a single Frozen Heart, it is much better. It is now probably worse to stack them than it used to be, as the percentage does not increase, and just the radius increases instead.
Yeah, probably not going to be stacked, but still, yeah, I would say overall, I would consider it a buff as well. So we check on over with Sasu here, 20 gold, pretty rich here, relatively speaking, in terms of all the rest of the lobby. 2 swords and a rod to her name right now. See what she wants to do with those items in the future, but just sitting on 4 pairs here, actually. Renekton, Leona, Ornn, and Diana, but hasn't quite hit any of them yet, and sitting at the bottom of the lobby right now in terms of HP, but definitely when those pairs are hit, she's going to look to stabilize. Facing EricThomas here with, again, a Nasus with a Frozen Heart. Doesn't have the lights in this time, though.
Shields. A lot of stall here with the Lunar buff,
Yeah.
trying to kind of wait until those buffs pop off and then all the damage comes out. This is definitely seems to be a pretty good early composition. Just a lot of shielding,
Yeah.
a lot of beefiness, and then the
Ivern as
Nasus will
well.
slowly burn everybody down while applying the Frozen Heart. And it's exactly kind of what happens to Sasu's composition here, and she's going to lose that one again. But as we mentioned, pretty rich right now for the lobby, looking at a lot of pairs, so can easily turn around for Sasu, and she's going to be able to pick first on the carousel. Gonna
Okay.
grab a chain vest.
Yeah,
off the
probably for
Scion.
Guardian's Angel. I would assume. Could make a locket, but yeah, probably Guardian's Angel there. There was indeed a spatula on the carousel as well. I wonder who that would be going over to. We'll find out soon. Yeah, that was Zeno, actually.
Oh, yeah, Zeno gonna pick that one up. We're gonna see what he decides to do with that. We have, I think, the highest volume of spatulas we've seen have gone to light.
Yeah, I think so. Did we see 2 Blade Master spatulas? I know we saw at least
no,
one.
No, you're right. No, Blade Master actually still has been the most, but it's just interesting because none of them have been
Ooh.
Blender.
Yeah, no, definitely. Blender seemingly not wanting to be run here by anybody, but Sasu decides to sell the potential Diana too. Still maybe could have played that, but perhaps would have lost out on gold, I suppose. Is keeping, however, the Senna, is hovering over the Guardian's Angel. Oh, okay, yeah, doesn't want to make a locket. Decides to indeed make that on the Renekton for now. Will probably sell that off later. But facing Zeno now, and Zeno decides to just play the Kindred with the Spatula. Obviously, Spatula not giving any stats, but just in terms of the power of the unit itself, as well as a couple of woodland units there between the Maokai and the Ivern.
Yeah,
super tanky.
assume that those Renekton items are going to go onto this Senna as soon as Sasu decides to play it. And for now, just trying to hope to maybe lose a little bit less HP. I don't see kind of the play that she went for there as being one to start to really win rounds yet, but maybe trying to mitigate as much damage as she can take. But
Indeed. Ooh, I think it was a few Nasuses there. Wow, that was quite the roll. But yeah, I was checking with EricThomas here at the first place position, 100 HP win streaking. Yeah, that Nasus with the Frozen Heart doing a lot of value there. It's interesting. I haven't really seen that many people prioritize Frozen Heart, especially as a pre Krugs item. Maybe would consider saving that vest for a Guardian's Angel or something, but no, just slamming that item, and it's working out very, very well for him here in the early game.
Yeah, it's absolutely doing work early on. It's just going to be a matter of if it ends up being a mistake for the game overall, like maybe
Yeah.
another item ends up being a better option. But for now, it's definitely working. I mean, this Lunar Warden, just very beefy composition with all these shields is, I mean, look at his comp. It's not taking
Yeah.
any damage. Like, it
No,
doesn't
it's
take
not.
anything from Zeno right now. Like, he does not care about any of the units on Zeno's
man.
side. It's really going to come down to what is Eric going to transition into? What can he transition into? Because for right now, for at least the foreseeable future, he should keep winning with this comp until maybe some other people start to pick up some pieces with like percent health damage or even just a lot more damage in general. Maybe some mages would be able to burn through this, but until then, it's going to keep winning.
Indeed, it is. I think maybe starting at stage like 3-2 and people go to level 6 and maybe roll down for some upgrades, could this be beat? But no, this is very, very strong. I think the Lunar gets a lot of value here specifically because there are 2 Wardens, so the units are going to be really tanky. There's Karma shields, there's Ivern shields as well, so the units will last a long time, get multiple stacks of that Lunar buff, and then be able to output the damage to win the round eventually because of that. So really, really smart composition here for the early game of EricThomas. And in terms of the transitional route, I mean, one of the biggest telltale signs of a transition is going to be the units on the bench, and we see all light units on the bench there. So maybe going for a soulbound composition with the Senolution, but maybe could do another light variation that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I mean, it could very well just be some raw lights right now. That's going to be the upgrade onto the Jax already here. And already having Soraka Nasus in is already at 4 lights if they want to put in 4 lights, of course. 3 being the threshold for the buff. Going to level up here actually to 6. We've talked about leveling up on off rounds in the past, and Eric is going to do it here.
Yeah, I guess suppose to try to preserve that win streak. I mean, it will lose him some gold in the long run, but preserving the win streak could potentially make that gold up if he's able to continue with it. That is in a Azir 2, however, on the opposite board here with a Morello's on the Senna. If there's a comp that could beat it, it might be this, and also in another aggressive level 6 leveler here. But the Nasus appears to be a bit too powerful, I think, right now.
Yeah. Also, Eric went as far as to put this Shojins on the
Yeah.
and it got out quite a few silences there that may have even been key to the victory, not allowing those ultimates to come out. I'm not sure if it actually made a difference because it did seem like Eric won fairly handedly, but it's possible that it did, just getting those extra few silences out. Able to prevent a lot of damage overall, and Eric able to preserve his 100%, preserve his win streak. Maybe it was worth it.
I'm not sure. I mean, slamming the Shojins there is super committal. I think Shojin is oftentimes not a great item for Soraka just because she has a lower mana pool. She is, I believe, 60 mana. So generally a Seraphs will function, I think, a bit better on her, but does decide to make that item. Is it worth it? Yeah, slamming these items to preserve the win streak, or maybe having better late game items. I suppose we will see as this game continues on, but facing Fluffy here, and I think it's going to be that win streak persisting for now, going to that level, for that 7 win streak marker and getting +3 extra gold per round because of that. So a lot of extra money being generated here, going to be making up for aggressively leveling to 6 a round before normal.
Yeah, with this Shojin commitment, though, I would like to see the Karma being used to buff the Soraka. So I wonder if he'll make that adjustment later, because I think the Tier 1 Lux is actually not doing nearly as much damage as the Soraka is. So you might as well get more value out of that item that you've committed.
Yeah, indeed. I would be curious to see where it's put to in the future, as I'm not quite sure myself. But as we look at Silneto here, there is the line here with all these units and the Senna, so that she makes sure to buff everybody. Quite the funny positioning here, it looks like. But has a spatula for making a light. Has a sword for a Guardian's Angel, has another sword maybe for a Giant Slayer, for a Lucian here, wanting to go that soulbound route, but facing off against, I forget who is rocking that River Sprite. It is Zeno.
With
Yeah, with the
old
Blade
friend,
Master.
Blade Master Azir.
And
We've
Spell
seen
Crit.
time and time again. And yeah, the Jeweled Gauntlet going to be the additional item that Zeno has there on top of his Azir. And yet again, it's doing a lot of damage. But we haven't seen this comp win a game yet. We've seen it near the top a couple times. And so it's definitely pretty solid comp. But it just hasn't been as like breakout, as standout as some of the other compositions we've seen.
Yeah, no, not quite. I'd be curious to take a further look at Zeno's composition here after this carousel, but deciding to pick up that that rod to maybe make him Morellos. I mean, there's a couple of belts on the bench here. With running summoners, running a couple of frontline ocean wardens, and that Aatrox being slammed into there. Definitely wants to go for Blade Masters, I believe. Finds a Sivir there. Will it be played right now? I'm not quite sure.
Morellas, of course, grabbing
Interesting,
that
yeah.
large rod.
With the Blade Master composition, I wouldn't really think that people would commit to wanting a Morellos, but maybe it's just slamming the item for the mid-game power spike. Most of the units here on this board are tier 1, though, between the Thresh, Nautilus, Azir, and the Annie, though, but some good synergies, however, so maybe it will still be enough. Facing Fluffy here with an Azir of his own.
Yeah,
and
this
the
Azir,
Morellos.
not a Blade Master. This one going for a Shojin and a Runaan's Hurricane. We do see a lot of damage being traded back and forth. The Lunar going to pop out. We're going to see those Tibbers coming down as well as these Azirs are just trading back and forth. But it looks like...
Oh wow! Actually, maybe Zeno. Yeah, it looks like it.
Soon. It looked really good for the side of Fluffy, but Zeno actually gonna win that one. Gonna take that round.
Yeah, I was right there along with you. I thought that round was actually lost for Zeno there, but no, the Zyra staying alive and the Tibbers being able to not put that much damage. It was Tibbers v Tibbers there for a little bit, and the Karma wasn't able to quite do enough there. That's really important for Zeno here, being one of the lower HP players in the lobby here to win streak. I mean, it's only a 2-win streak here, but hey, it's better than losing HP, and getting +1 gold is better than gaining 0 gold, of course. So really, really important victory there.
Yeah, EricThomas has actually lost at this point and is sitting on, it looks like, a couple of Rangers, a couple of wards, not fully committed to light. I mean, we do see 3 light, of course, still. On the bench, we don't see any more light, though. We see a Senna, and we've got a Varus, so it looks more like a commitment to Rangers is what's going to be coming out. Already has the Twitch, already has the Ash, just not any tier 2 units.
This is Azir.
That round, going to be able to stay alive against Zeno, taking down the Azir. Twitch being able to sit in the corner. That's actually a very nice Inferno Hex.
Yeah. Oh, of course, that Twitch having 30% attack speed, that's going to be very, very solid when being paired with 2 items. Maybe eventually would want to put another 3rd item on him, but that Hex will serve as a very, very nice 3rd item for the meantime here in the mid game.
Yeah, and positioned perfectly in the corner there, so kind of keep him away, especially because Assassins have just not been really showing their face today.
Really, Blender was like one of the major assassin comp that people would go. Sometimes they would run, their Kha'Zix 2s as well, or maybe their Zeds. But assassins, indeed are not really seeing play here tonight, especially. There is a Diana here being played by Bububoosh, but that's of course going to be sold later on in the game, unless there's some like 6 Inferno route being gone for here, but it doesn't look like that is the case, however.
And Bububoosh, I think, is the one who picked up the spat on the last carousel. I think it was a Nautilus, actually, that he picked up, and it did combine. So kind of looking to see if there's any Spatula options for him right now. Not really anything that he would put in right this second.
If there was anything, it might be Inferno. You're not going to make a Berserker here. So yeah, decides to commit all those other items into Morellos and Thieves' Gloves for the Malphite. Not great items there that they rolled. I mean, Luden's Rod, he might do a bit of damage there, but not any tankiness of any sorts.
The extra mana is not bad to make sure Unstoppable Force goes out, but overall could have asked for some better items. The Taric is going to get that ultimate off, kind of preserving this front line's HP, and Azir has an Ashe putting him down right now. Zyra will not be able to stay alive long enough to kill off the rest of this comp. Gonna get a couple people
yeah.
low though. Gonna help out a little bit, but not
That's always
quite
a
enough.
always it feels bad when there's multiple units around, like, you know, that 1 HP mark and they just don't fall down, so you take a bit of extra damage, unfortunately. Bububoosh, though, deciding to sell off the Diana, not going 3 Infernos. Puts the locket on the Azir. I think Azir is a pretty decent locket holder. He does work well with that ability power. The armor, maybe not so much, but the ability power, definitely so. As he's still in second place here, right behind EricThomas at 69 HP, going into round 4-2 here versus Zeno, the Blade Master, and the running man with
picked
the book.
up a Singe. Yeah, running man with a book. Gonna grab the Singe. Got the Morellos on him. He's gonna be doing a lot of damage here. But Bububoosh, his composition seems quite strong. The Malphite goes in, gets that big knockup. And in the back line, he's got his Summoners. He's got his Azir. He's got his Zyra, just dealing a ton of damage.
Indeed, these are some good Malphite items this time. Yeah, Frozen Heart, and I guess Iceborne Gauntlet actually isn't the Iceborne Gauntlet of old, so maybe not so great actually after all, but Frozen Heart definitely a good one there. I think talk about the items really quickly, you know, some of these new ones that we've seen. We haven't really seen Bramble Vest. We saw one Titan's Resolve. We've seen basically no willing Iceborne Gauntlets, I believe, as it's not really a great item, I don't think. It's one of the weaker ones of set 2 so far, just in general.
We saw
did?
one.
One Iceborne?
It was
Okay.
on the Pred Victory. Skarner actually had an Iceborne.
Oh, right.
Which
You are correct
seems
there.
a little bit odd, actually, thinking
Yeah.
about it. It doesn't actually seem like that. Like, when you think of Skarner, you don't think he's spamming his ultimate that much. I mean, he does cast it fairly often, but it's not like that insane to where I would think that he needs an Iceborne.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, the units that would be pretty good for an Iceborne maybe are those low mana pool ones like the Ezreal or the Kindred, but I think if you're stacking Ezreal with items, like, it just feels really awkward. And if you're stacking a Kindred, you might as well just give her damage items so that she will one-shot the target as opposed to, you know, CCing it. Just doesn't seem really that value there. Going to the stage 4 carousel here. We see Exkeepcallin on a win streak. I believe with some Rangers. Yeah, that Vayne, the Ashe. So it's looking pretty strong here in the mid game. Wonder what item he'll want to pick up though.
Yeah, we see a spat picked up by Bububoosh, so that's actually gonna be his fawn. He was able to find it.
Oh yeah, no, very fortunate there.
That's pretty important actually for the future of this game, I would say, being able to get that fawn completed. It was definitely seeming like that spat was not going to be able to go anywhere. And so the fact that he was able to grab a spatula a little bit later on the carousel as well.
Yeah.
Very good pickup.
Yeah, Exkeepcallin deciding to roll here on level 7 as opposed to leveling up. I suppose, yeah, I wanted to find the Twitch. Is able to find one, but we'll see how far that Exkeepcallin decides to roll it down. Okay, decides to put the Malphite in? Maybe not, though. There is the Ashe on the bench there. Is a Last Whisper going to be built? There's a lot of options here.
Yeah, it has the tier 2 Ashe and then an extra Ashe on the bench. We've got
Alright, I'm gonna start
the Terracult gonna come down, actually gonna keep the Vayne alive, which is pretty important as the Singe steps forward. Ashe trying to deal enough damage to this Tibbers and actually gonna
It's enough, yeah.
very quickly. Yeah, the 4 Ranger buff kind of doing a lot of work there. Keeping these Rangers quite strong.
Same with the Taric there. I think the Taric is the reason why that round was actually won. But yeah, definitely so. Deciding to sell the extra Ashe off isn't going for the tier 3 Ashe, unfortunately. But finding another Twitch, that is important. Okay, does decide to sell? No, I thought that was a committal there to selling the Vayne, but got debated there.
I don't know if
It
it's
seemed
strong
like
yet.
he did commit to
meant
selling
to,
Vayne,
but like
and
didn't. Then it was like, yeah.
it's like,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
fate. I have to keep them.
Wait for Rat 2.
Definitely
You
once
need
that's a
Rat
tier 2
3,
Twitch,
bro.
we'll
Rat
decide
3, Rat 3.
to commit that.
This is
I'm
Rat 2.
sure about that one. I can make that make that prediction there, but I mean, and on an 8 win streak already, still being level 7, I think there's no real reason to, you know, force anything different right now if it's working out, and it seems to be. Facing against EricThomas here, though, yeah. Up against the Poison. The HP leader of the lobby also has an Ashe of his own, but a tier 1. Tier 2 Twitch, though, however.
Yeah, has that rat-a-tat-tat coming across with the
It ain't
sword
it, Chief,
breaker.
it ain't it.
Doesn't really get enough procs there,
No,
and the
not at
slow
all.
attack speed on that
Dude,
Twitch definitely hurting.
just the
Definitely
best
no
Ranger
damage
player
items
in the
either,
world?
making it pretty slow once it got that rat-a-tat-tat off. A
Yeah,
lot different than the previous Twitch
after
we had
this, I
seen,
have to
Yeah.
go.
which was absolutely
Dude, I'm not-
decimating the entire teams of the rest of their opponents. So definitely would like to see
Alright.
some damage items picked up, but maybe it just has not been in the cards for
We beat
EricThomas.
this.
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, there's already a committal to, there's been the committal to slamming items like the Frozen Heart and the Shojins. It really, lends itself to me thinking, is this really the route that you want to go to if you're EricThomas, with slamming those items that you have early game? Even a Warmog's there, not wanting to go a red buff, has the vest, but red buff could have been really, really good on that Twitch as well.
I don't know if this is a first place comp.
I'm looking to see what items that he's able to pick up here on this Raptors round. Perhaps a Guardian's Angel there. Yeah, sword's good, and not a spatula, but in fact a Yorick and a Jana, which were instantly sold for 8 gold there. GA on the Singed. Not Marella's. I mean, this seems like it's just a lot of random items slammed in, trying to preserve HP and getting a top 4 finish is what it feels like to me right now.
Yeah, it very much does. I don't think this is going to end up being a first place by any means. So
Didn't
really it
find
comes
what we
down to
needed.
how long will it allow EricThomas to hang on. I
Yeah.
mean, we see still Leto and Fluffy and Zeno all very low already. So Leto and Fluffy obviously being in single-digit HP right now.
Yeah.
But right now, EricThomas is going to go against Sasu.
Yeah, tier 2 Nami.
Yeah, tier 2 Nami
Still
pretty
alive?
stacked with items as
Mhm.
well. Did have some damage nerfs, but the items that she has on it aren't really affected too much by the damage nerf. So
Yeah, no.
see
I don't know.
trying to get these ultis out, trying to get the damage out. And this Twitch just
Sounded like
without
he
any
definitely
attack
was
speed,
thinking
without
that.
any attack damage, actually feels not as impactful. It doesn't feel that good without any items.
No, it doesn't. And going out in 8th place here, I believe, is Silneto. Yeah, unfortunately there for him. Not the best placements here, but still has a chance to make it up in game number 4. Fluffy is not too far behind on 6 HP, Zeno being on 13, Sasu on 16. Theoretically, a lot of these players are in one-shot range in the bottom 4 here. But EricThomas has slammed those items, so the HP leader right now on 53, even though he is on a 2-loss streak right now.
Yeah, gonna run into a clone army here, so hopefully he's able to win that. But so far, it's actually not looking super good in
Nope.
this clone army. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
Kron's
whose
is
clone
weak.
this is, but he's kind of getting dunked by it.
Mm-hmm. Not going to
that's doing
take
a lot
as
of
much
damage.
damage. Yeah, because the clone armies do deal weaker damage, but they're still the same strength of composition.
Yeah, it was still
Jesus
11
Christ.
damage though
That's
from a
start.
clone.
Yeah, no, that's a lot. That's definitely a lot.
Kinda hurt, and we did
On
lose
the Ash
Zeno.
too.
We lost
Yeah.
Zeno there.
And then Yui and Sasu on 4 HP both. And then 6 HP here from Fluffy, I believe. Yeah.
It's kind of a reoccurring theme we're having this fight night. We're having quite a lot of games where we have multiple members
Should have,
down in the single digit HP, and then they tend to hold on for a long time. We're gonna see if we get a repeat of that. Sasu versus
Someone's
Fluffy,
falling
one
here.
of them probably is going down.
100%.
Gonna throw that one out there.
That's
But
where-
Deluxe coming across, not
Nice.
quite able to finish off this Nami here. The tidal wave going to go across and knock up pretty
sure
much
it's
the
enough, though.
entire team. Brand staying alive this long might spell disaster for Sasu, but Fluffy's
Yeah.
trying to keep it safe in the
Brand.
corner, but
It's
no.
fucking fourth.
Brand
Ooh,
being
2
able to stay
players.
alive that long, throwing out those pyroclasms, is going to keep Fluffy alive, and that means Sasu falls. That fight went on for so long, and somehow Yui was still able to stay alive longer than Sasu, and ends up getting that 5th place finish, and Sasu down to 6th.
Yeah, Yui in 5th there. I think that was a Singe picked up by EricThomas with the GA, but I think there was already a Singe with the GA. I think that's going to pop off. Finds the Singe too, though. But yeah, I don't think double GA you can actually put on a unit there. Fluffy does pick up a light spatula, but only has 1 light. Oh, no, it does. Wait, there's double GA Singe. Wait, how does...
Is that does he revive a second time? I
I
know it used to work like that.
In set 1, you used to actually revive twice. I'm not sure if that's a like it's supposed to be able to pop off or not. I don't think I've actually ever seen an interaction with picking up a GA unit to combine into tier 2 to a unit that already had a GA. That's actually a first time I'm ever seeing that there. Yeah, let's watch here.
Yeah, EricThomas has got this GA'd Singe, double GA, tier 2 Singe running around in the back line, getting some damage out. That is a tier 1 Nami with a Giant Slayer in the back. Does go down. There's one revive. I don't see another GA icon around the Singe, but we're not even going to get a chance to find out.
Or are we?
No, it looks like Singe will be able to win that one.
Yeah.
So, the verdict is still, we don't know. And as Fluffy ends up falling in 4th here,
Yeah.
so our single-digit HP players are actually not able to hang on quite as long this time around.
Oh, I think from chat there, Faye is saying, doesn't it come back with 1k HP instead of 500? Maybe that is the case instead. Because, see, I don't think it does, in fact, revive twice. I mean, I haven't seen it, so maybe, but yeah, maybe
sounds
the
right,
revival.
because that Singe did look like it had
Yeah,
quite a
more
sizable
HP after
HP pool when it
revive.
came back.
I would think that that was indeed the case that happened there. But facing Bububoosh here is EricThomas. Is the Singe 2 going to be enough to take this composition out? I'm not sure it is.
That Malphite is a tanky boy, and it's getting into the back line onto
Yeah.
the Rangers, able to start applying those attack speed slows and the stun onto Ash, and maybe this is enough. Not
It's
quite.
close.
A lot of damage onto Eric, putting him down to 7 HP.
Yeah.
Exkeepcallin and Bububoosh being our very consistent players so far. I guess Exkeepcallin did have a bad first game, but did get first in the previous one, and is still alive here going into the final 3. Bububoosh, who was the person you picked to watch, has been very consistent and remains consistent in another top 3 here.
Yeah, definitely a top 3 scenario, and EricThomas does find his way in here as well, as it seems like that is the position that he played for here. Again, talking about slamming those items, I think if you're EricThomas, you know, you're pretty happy about the result of this game, still being on level 7 at the Dragon round, going into stage 6 without a hyper roll composition is, yeah, relatively low level. Usually players will be on level 8, you know, approaching maybe level 9 at this point. So definitely a solid placement here. But yeah, deciding to finally level now and place the Amumu in. Rolling a couple times for fun, maybe. Can't really place anything in. But I mean, if he lives... Yeah, Quicksilver on the Amumu, allowing him to not be CC'd himself. And may have a higher chance because of that to get his ultimate off. Facing against a couple of very strong compositions here. Holy moly, that was level 9, like so many tier 2 legendaries there, I think. That we were scouting, but facing up, yeah.
Tier 2 Tarek on this board. We've got quite a few 2-starred Rangers in the back. We've got
so many items on them.
Running through, trying to apply that poison, but this Twitch is
not enough.
popping off, dealing so much damage across this whole team. It is not a double revive. Does look like it was just the double HP. And that's going to be it for Eric, as he's going to fall to that Ranger comp. Ranger's kind of yet again showing to be pretty powerful right now. The Twitch, maybe the buffs to Twitch were enough, or maybe just overall Rangers has been a comp that's been a little bit slept on. And it seems to be working out pretty well for these competitors today.
Yeah, and I think last game was a victory from Exkeepcallin with Rangers. I believe so, and it did have poisons in there as well. So I think that's going to be one of the major reasons why that composition I think is so strong. I think poison is kind of a busted synergy, especially going against these frontliners like Malphite and Amumu who want to ultimate, but having them needing to be able to get double the mana is like actually insanely impactful.
And this time around, Exkeepcallin has this Tarek 2 in the front line, getting that ultimate out, protecting his Rangers. Not able to get a second application yet, but this Twitch is just in the back, popping rat-a-tat-tat.
Oh my.
You're all going to die. Every single one of Bububoosh's units fall down to this Twitch, constantly pumping out damage, and he's got more threats than that too. Even if you kill the Twitch off this time around, it might not even be enough.
I mean, I don't think so, but Bububoosh was
Oh,
able to
another
pick up
Tarek?
a tier 2
Another-
Lux there. Ocean Lux, it doesn't have any items
another
committed
Tarek
to it,
tonight?
but still will be doing a lot of damage there. But it does seem like Exkeepcallin, is just the stronger player
that
right now,
trolling? I
or
don't
has
know.
the stronger composition at least, with multiple of those Ranger threats. The Tarek too,
Oh,
with
dude, I
Crystal
knew he was
being able
gonna
to get
switch. I
off
didn't scout
multiple
it.
ultimate, or even just the one
Very,
ultimate.
very good Zephyr positioning from
Yeah.
Bububoosh. Gets it on the Twitch, so he's not able to proc out yet.
Alright, the
Does
Moo
get
kinda
knocked up
clutch.
by the Malphite, and a Lux Laser is going to come across, but not enough to finish. Rat-a-tat-tat comes out. He's trying to pump out all
Tarek
the damage
kind of
that he
OP
needs.
though.
Tarek going to get one more
Ooh,
ulti off, and that might
that's
actually do it.
huge.
We're going to see as the Twitch keeps dealing
Okay, I
more
don't
and
need
more
Mystic.
damage. And yeah,
It's
Exkeepcallin
close.
gonna win another round. The Ashe still also
Two
doing a
ults,
large
it's
amount of damage
over.
on the side. So even if the Twitch is kept down, there is still damage
need
threats
Singe.
available for Exkeepcallin.
Yeah, what does Exkeepcallin decide to go for item here? Maybe a Trap Claw? No, the Death Cap. Who's that going to be put on here? I wonder. Not quite sure there. Not an
Wait.
item that I would think would be
Do I
built
remake
here.
Ash? I
Building
think
another
I
tier
would
2
choose to
Ash.
remake Ash.
Oh, okay, just for the Singed, in fact. Yeah. All right,
Choose
I
another Varus.
definitely agree with that now. I was like, oh, who's going to put the Death Cap on? Selling the Singe. But no, it's just playing the Singe for the poison over the Kog'Maw. That's
Right?
definitely a good idea there. Ooh, decides? Oh. Okay. Interesting. Decides to remake the Ash. Deciding to put what? The Zephyr on
Doesn't finish placing his
Malphite?
items yet,
Oh
which
my
could
God.
be.
Actually, give me
Yeah,
the
Quicksilver goes where? On the Ash.
We're gonna see this Tarek ulti coming out. Gonna see
Mm-hmm.
if he can keep everyone alive. Twitch was not in it, but he's not taking very much
Yeah, the
damage
QSS
yet.
didn't
Getting
matter
out those
though, 'cause he
rat-a-tat
hit
autos,
this.
taking
I think I
down.
win.
Yeah, I mean, just melting the entire team. Twitch is just
Yeah,
so
it might even be it.
Made Ash?
It's
Have
going to
him
be
remake
close.
Ash, 'cause I've been
I'm
trying to
not
think.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah, that'll
Boosh
do
goes
I was trying to
down.
think,
That was,
dude.
yeah, almost nearly exact HP or exact damage there. But Exkeepcallin with 2 victories in a row now with these Rangers.
TK
That
showing us
Twitch
what's
has
good.
proved its
Yo,
worth now, and Exkeepcallin, yeah, gonna be one of the point leaders right now, if not first place, even with the poor first game placement there. We're going to get scores updated here in a second, but Rangers cast, it seems to be super fucking strong.
Yeah, that might be the flavor for the rest of this tournament here. I mean, it's only one game left, of course, so it's a little bit late for people to start picking up onto it, but this gives an advantage in my eyes to Exkeepcallin to maybe take the rest of this lobby unless Bububoosh can stay super consistent and keep that 3-point lead. But Exkeepcallin playing again, he seems very comfortable running the composition. If he can just get some of that early game going and transition into it once more, get one more victory, he might be able to sweep the rest of this and take the first place from underneath Bububoosh's nose.
Yeah, if Exkeepcallin gets first place next game and Bububoosh gets third, they'll be tied for points, but I believe Exkeepcallin will win that tiebreaker because of how many place placements there. So it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be pretty intense going to this game number 4. I mean, Zeno and Fluffy are just but 4 points behind second place, being tied for 26 here. Zeno, unfortunately, with the 7th place last game, really, really hurting that consistency with the 3rd and the 2nd place placements there. Even Sasu, yeah, a lot of players are going to be within range of getting a top 3 at the very least, and top 3, as we recall, do get invited back for the next Fight Night Rising here. Players obviously want to get very least the top 4 to get in that money, but top 3 do get invited back here.
Yeah, absolutely. And the race for those spots is still on, but the race for first place seems very much locked. We're looking really closely at Exkeepcallin and Bububoosh as they are neck and neck and have been both pretty consistent players throughout. Exkeepcallin, I would even say has been very consistent. I mean, 2 first place finishes. He did have one outlier, but still overall being able to keep those first place finishes coming in with these Ranger compositions. I mean, it's been very, very cool to watch, and I'm excited to see if he'll go for it once again.
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if the items and the units are there, you might as well go for it again, as winning 2 games in a row of a lobby of really solid players is, yeah, going to be a pretty telling sign of the strength of the composition, I think.
For sure, it definitely has seemed really good, and I agree with you. It seems like that poison is the difference maker in the comp. It's making it so those big ultimates that come out of either the front lines and the mages does not kill off your rangers in time, and then that twitch in the back line with all those items just go rat-a-tat-tat across the entire board, killing every unit off and winning you the round.
Yeah,
So
3
that,
players
everyone,
here going for... Oh, it looks like they're
they
going for
went with the
Rod,
rod,
actually.
yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Meadow actually grabbing another spatula. I feel like
It's
I feel
3
like I've said
games?
that so many
Yeah.
times.
I think it was 3 games of Leto getting the spatula. But Bububoosh does grab that rod, however. I thought like 4 players were going for that spat there. But I wonder what that will go into. Probably a light or a force of nature, but maybe I think we have seen another Blade Master. Did we see a Blade Master item last game? I don't recall, but it's been something that players are going.
I want to say there was another Blade Master Azir. I think we saw it.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Going crazy. We've seen it so many times.
Maybe we both are.
But I believe we did see a Blade Master Azir in the previous game.
Yeah, Bububoosh here. A couple of Predators. Maybe Pred's gonna be an option here. You know, keeping the Rek'Sai in play for now. I wonder, yeah, what players will decide to do to adapt. Poison definitely on people's radar right now, if not just Rangers in general. Blade Masters with the Azir for sure. Even the Inferno composition we saw a couple of games ago with the Inferno Lux proved to be very, very strong. But definitely through the top or the first 3 games here tonight, it seems like Rangers are dominant, and
absolutely, yeah,
that has an impact on this lobby for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if maybe we see Exkeepcallin go for it again, but maybe someone else thinks that they want to try it this game because they've seen it be so good.
I just have
and
to
it could
analyze
affect
and see
the
what I can get away
ability
with.
to play the comp correctly if more people are going for it. You're going to be competing for those units, maybe not able to find those tier 2
All
Twitch,
right.
the tier 2 Ashe, any
Yeah.
of those other
Should I try static shiv game?
things that you need. I mean, the poisons, even the Mundos
mean,
and the
this could
Singe,
still
like,
be,
it's going to be harder to find every single unit you want.
A hush.
So.
Indeed, tier 2
think
Singe is a
Red
big
might not
power
be-
spike. There's only 10 legendary units in the pool, so if a couple players already have tier 2 Singe, you know, and you're trying to find that, there's only going to be 4 left in the entire pool. Similar concept for 4-cost units. There's only 12 4-cost units in the entire pool, so if a couple players have a Twitch 2, you know, quick math there, that's 6 left, you know, caster math, pog, but yeah, 6 left going to be in the pool there if you're trying to find a tier 2 one. A couple Leonas, couple Vlads here for Exkeepcallin. And there's these items there is definitely lends itself to being Rangers. Yeah, already playing the Varus and the Vayne in there. Probably going to put some items in the Vayne, being the item holder, has a frontline Leona. This is very strong. I wouldn't be surprised if this, you know, nets itself into a early to mid game win streak, assuming that some tier 2 Rangers are found.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is exactly the start that Exkeepcallin wanted to see, right? He wanted to get those early Rangers to try and make sure that he can go into his comp later on. Getting some Wardens early too. I mean, that's huge, right? The Leona at tier 2, getting that front line. I agree with you, absolutely. This is looking very good for a start for Exkeepcallin.
Yeah, but does run into Zeno, who has aggressively leveled to 4 here, so trying to put a damper on that plan just to start things off here. No unit dies, and yeah, Exkeepcallin takes 8 damage there. Pretty sizable number for round number 1 against the aggressive leveling of Zeno. Oh man, that's a tier 2 Varus there on round 2 too. That's no slouch of a unit right there.
And if anything, this is just going to give an earlier carousel to Exkeepcallin, so he's
Yeah.
probably going to get an item that he wants.
Mhm.
So
I don't
realistically,
even mind that loss there, yeah.
yeah, maybe not that bad at all. Actually, you actually you see that and you're like, okay, I guess I take those. We took
Yeah.
that 8 damage, and
Especially-
we'll have this strong composition start to win streak now, and we'll buy an item off the carousel that we want.
Yeah. Yui here with 5 veins though on round 2 too. That makes me think, is that going to be a hyper roll light? I haven't really seen people try to go for that tier 3 vein hyper carry. I was, you know, theory crafting a bit with static shiv scaling with the star level, maybe like a triple Shiv Vayne or even a double Shiv Vayne 3 would be very, very strong. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, there was also the small buff to Vayne's ultimate as well,
Yeah.
extra damage on those silver bolts. So
Maybe some
definitely
Rune
could see
then.
something like that. Yeah, maybe a Runeans, the static Shiv. I like that idea as well. So it could be really good going to that tier 3 unit with the hitting 5 units, I believe, with the static Shiv. I mean, you're AoEing the entire board pretty much. This could be really good. I'd love to see a Hyper Roll Light come out though, just out of
I would
interest in
too,
seeing
yeah.
it happen. Like we haven't seen one this time around. Lights have been played repeatedly. They seem very good. So kind of just getting that Hyper Roll and seeing where it goes would be a very interesting thing for us to see. So I would love if Yui would go that route, and we'll just have to see if she decides that that's her best course of action.
Yeah, probably going to be considered here. I mean, 5 Vaynes at 2-2. You at least think about, hey, can I actually feasibly get this to be tier 3? So that thought process is definitely there, whether the route is decided or not. But facing Exkeepcallin here with that tier 2 Varus and the tier 2 Leona seems to be too strong of a damage and a front line for Yui to really push through right now. As we go into the stage 2 carousel, Yui down to 90. Exkeepcallin isn't able to be within the first 2 carousel picks, but will be okay being the 3rd pick there, given the first round 1 loss.
Yeah, so Leto actually gonna grab probably a fawn there. I think.
Yep.
Leto
Another
grabs a
fawn.
spatula. Wait a minute, I've said this before.
I've said this maybe like 5 times, 6 times this tournament
Yeah.
so far, but yeah, force of nature. I mean, early
That's
enough,
so
that's
early.
going to, yeah. That's actually pretty insane. I mean, having an extra unit at this stage of the game is going to be a lot easier for you to win streak with just having that extra body on board. At 83 HP right now, second to last place, but maybe we'll be up at the top, few, given another couple of rounds heading into stage 3 as well.
Yeah, I really want to keep eyes on Yui for a bit.
Okay, sold
Once we
1
get
Vayne.
closer. Oh,
Yep.
well, I
So
think that kind of changes.
it does.
I don't expect her to hyper roll at all. Then
No.
I think you would never sell that Vayne there if
Yeah.
you're going thinking of hyper rolling.
Sold it for
Here's the
econ.
I
Sold
was
it for
thinking I
econ.
wanted to watch Yui around around Krugs for when that hyper roll might come into play, but yeah, as you said, as we're saying, doesn't look like that'll be the case after all.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, maybe there's a scenario where the Vayne, or you like roll a couple more Vaynes somehow, and then be like, okay, maybe I do want to commit to this after all. But I think with those items, you're not going to want to do that. Committing to a Quicksilver this early, I think it's a good item. I just haven't really seen it being committed this aggressively. So, yeah, not going to go for that Hyper Roll Light, but maybe still Rangers potentially. But maybe Soulbounds instead. We will see. GA definitely being one of the staple items for Soulbound composition.
Yeah, definitely really early, and it was committed on the Orin, which I find pretty interesting. I'm not sure if I exactly like that. I guess the Orin is just carrying the item.
Yeah, it's a placeholder. It's a placeholder. So I don't think it's bad in that sense. You can determine what item or what unit you want to place that item on in the future, but just having it on a beefy tier 2 unit with all your items, it's going to stay alive for a while. It didn't quite pick the victory up in the last round, but the Kiana was never able to stun the Ornn at least. So
that's true.
Yeah. Facing against Fluffy here with 2 tier 2 electrics, that volley pretty early on here, and an Ornn for himself. Probably gonna be able to take the victory here.
Through everything, the Ornn actually has really good positioning for that Forge Master's Breath coming across a lot of targets.
Yeah.
And Vayne not able to do quite enough, gonna get bit down by that Volibear. We'll get finished off. We're gonna go ahead and check out Sasu.
Yeah, 100 HP here, 5 win streak. Found the tier 2 Nautilus there, and a Lucian and a Senna. What was that roll? Oh man, that's a roll right there. That is a roll.
That's so early for that tier 2 Nautilus. And
oh man, and a GA and a Hand of Justice. Was it Sasu who had the Hand of Justice Lucian?
Yeah,
game
we're
1.
gonna see a run back. I think of that. I mean, already has the Senna. already has those items. We're gonna see the Hodge Lucian, and the GA is gonna go over to Senna.
Yeah.
In just probably just a couple rounds. For now, of course, keeping that tier 2 Renekton as it is pretty powerful at this point in the game, but already has the Lucian and the Senna. Tier 2 Nautilus, I mean, looking pretty good so far.
Definitely. Just the instant reaction there of Sasu, just hand to the face, being like, oh my, that roll was insane. And it very much was. Pretty much, yeah, 4 extremely good units there. I mean, finding the Nautilus tier 2. Sometimes when you're sitting on 2 Nautiluses early, it feels so bad because you just waste gold and not find the tier 2 for so long. But then is able to pick up the, perfect soulbound package right there as well. Having the items already, it's just perfect scenario. Being 100 HP and win streaking as well.
Yeah,
You're going to see how Saucy plays this.
Too,
Yeah, definitely.
Soraka shows up, which is that's pretty nice to see. Being able to grab one of those more rare light units. Already has 1 vein. Probably not gonna actually pick up any more veins. Doesn't seem like something you would even necessarily need to get your lights. Maybe just to get the light energy early
just in
on.
just in case. Probably if you need that unit, I would probably I'd probably just pick it up here. It's also an ocean map as well, so Senna is able to cast her ultimate instantly, being on that ocean tile, as you see right there, getting some instantaneous value.
Yeah, it's kind of an exact run back of the first time around for Saucy, except for this time she is going to get to start out with that tier 2 Nautilus, which I think you're always happy to see something like that.
Yeah.
Lucian is getting focused down. I mean, this is kind of best case in the fight for the RNG. It looks like the Senna was able to just stay alive the whole time in the corner, not taking any damage. And Saucy's going to keep this win streak rolling.
Yui at level 4 their last round. Pretty much you never see that happen unless the player is hyper rolling. I don't think that she was, however, though. Just wanted to econ a little bit more and wait until just passively going to level 5. Sasu though does go to level 6, plays the Ocean Wardens. Finds an Aatrox there on that roll. So, yeah, has some light options there. Just needs to find, I believe, 1 more. Yeah, to have that 6 light. But does have, has committed to the Nautilus, though. So it's going to be not something you want to sell off in the near future. Exkeepcallin, though. A stacked Lucian, though, on that side.
Yeah, it absolutely pumped the front line of Sasu here, and it is going to be able to finish everything else off. And that's going to be the win streak. That's unfortunate. Not able to use the econ all the way back up to 40 or 50, kind of sitting at 20 right now. Still,
a little low.
Pretty good units overall. I do expect Sasu to still win a fair amount of rounds.
Yeah, definitely.
She was definitely hoping to hold on to that a little bit longer, squeak out a couple more rounds of that bonus gold. Try and pick up a couple more of the upgrades that she needs. Zeno, however, on 50 gold. Well,
very rich. Yeah,
93
HP. Has been able to econ for a while here. Has 3 Berserkers. Not really Olaf items, so I'm not sure if the commitment to Zerkers is going to quite be there for 6. I mean, there is a Jax on the bench, though, so it's definitely an option. I mean, I guess GA isn't bad for Olaf, and with that tier there, could go a Hush. I think it could be a viable route that Zeno goes here, being able to level 7 next round, roll it down, maybe find 1 Olaf, find 1 Scion, and then boom, there's your 6 Zerkers.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be a route that we end up seeing right now going in against Bububoosh, and Bububoosh seems to be pretty strong here, actually. It looks like he may be able to take down this Berserker comp. Yeah, it's going to look like it with these mages, the Talia and the Syndra in the back line, putting out plenty of damage. But yeah, as you mentioned, Zeno, I mean, still incredibly rich. He doesn't mind losing around 2 right now as he's econing up, and absolutely could look to go to level 7 on the next round. We'll see if that's what he commits to.
I'd be fairly confident that would be the scenario, unless it's just super greed. But Berserker compositions do want to spike in the mid game and be powerful, and Zeno is still on 85 HP, which is so strong. Yeah, hovering over that Olaf right there. Will he be able to take it? I mean, his last pick, so I'm not sure. We'll definitely settle with a cloak here.
Yeah, just
to make that Hush, I think.
Glove, I think.
Yeah, I mean, IE is a solid Olaf item. I think players are starting to go that a little bit recently. Yeah, either get that or the bow, I think, are the 2 options. Yeah, gets the Olaf.
That's pretty best case, I think, for Zeno here. No one touching the Olaf the entire time. Gonna be able to put that in, and actually gonna be able to preserve a good amount of gold because of that. Because
Yeah.
you won't have to roll nearly as aggressively.
Does need one Scion for 6 Berserkers, but that's about it. Yeah, decides to play that Kha'Zix for the deserts right now. But rolling it, these are decent rolls here. Past couple. Ooh, Ocean Lux, but no, that's not what we want to see. Another Jax. Missed a volley, though. That would have been a tier 2 volley there, but never punished.
Yeah, absolutely fine. Another one. Oh, I'm confused now.
Making the swap.
Which one has my?
Is he not what the volleys, or does he not see the volleys? I guess is the question. Because that's 2 that he just rolled right past.
Yeah.
The first time seems like a mistake. The second time seems like it's on purpose, right?
Yeah, that's what I would think as well at that point. Not sure. Maybe just wants to prioritize finding the correct units instead. I mean, still needs a Scion. Still has that GA on the bench there on that Nasus.
Did I miss something?
Probably wants to put that GA on the Olaf. It has the glove there as well. Definitely want to keep looking at Z. Oh my, that double Olaf
That's
roll
a roll.
there. What a roll! Holy moly!
Never punished actual. gonna grab.
That's disgusting.
I need to find the
Tier
goddamn.
Disgusting roll. Holy.
Still sitting on that volley one.
Yeah. Does still need a Scion though. But probably doesn't need to commit to rolling that much for it, considering that was a Olaf 2.
I found the guy who has my Scion.
Holy.
Let's go ahead and appreciate this Olaf 2 as it shreds through this entire team that actually is already pretty much dead, dude. This is. But finally, it's gonna pop its ulti, gonna start going through. There's the Scion that he wants. He's gonna kill it, and yeah, so now
Why
he's gonna
question
lose a
pinging me?
little
Don't
bit of
ping
HP,
me.
dropping down pretty low.
Level
again,
6
so
0
now-
gold. Very aggressive gold spending there.
But I still don't have
We
Scion.
want to check in a bit with Meadow in the coming rounds, but yeah, for Zeno, I think I'd be very, very surprised to see Zeno not in the top 3 for this game, just given having a Marella singed and a tier 2 Olaf at this point of the game, and still being at 77 HP.
I think pretty important to see what items that he's able to grab here as well from this Wolves round.
Oh,
Because
Zerker's
really
here as well.
show What the Zerkers can do, but yeah, Zerkers for Meadow. He's gonna see what he can grab. He does have 6 Zerkers, does have that Scion, the Fawn, but no T2 Olaf, no items on Olaf. We'll check out his items, and then I want to also see Zeno's items afterwards to see what he was able to grab.
Yeah.
A glove and a rod for him. We'll see what Zeno does. Looks like he
Hand of Justice.
And Justice has another glove and a giant spell on the bench.
Potential for a trap claw, but probably wants to hold out for a bit. I wonder if there's a route where you go double hand of justice. I mean, we saw that for Illusion in the game 1 by Saucy, I believe, but I think double hand of justice on Olaf wouldn't be terrible. I think I would prefer to have an RFC or a Hush, however, because the utility there. But this definitely is not bad. Exkeepcallin, though, Rangers once again, I think, has the Lucian as the placeholder unit for the Twitch there. But we'll see just how much damage the Lucian's able to output here going into the Berserkers of Zeno.
Yeah, seems like it. And doesn't lose this round too bad for Exkeepcallin, running into this very strong Berserker comp at this stage in the game.
Mid-game Zerkers, huge power spike.
Definitely looking to scale a little bit more. Maybe once he hits the Twitch, he might have enough, especially if he gets the poison synergy.
Volley too.
Keep the Olaf from ulting as early. But yeah, finally able to grab it away after being offered it for a 3rd time. Definitely still interested. I guess he was just missing it twice in a row, but
maybe it's possible.
It's just hard to believe that. I'd be curious to hear what Zeno's thoughts were on that. But for sure.
I think it's definitely understandable. Being relatively new to compositions, I don't know how much Zeno, played Berserkers in the past, but I know, yesterday personally, I definitely missed a few units rolling down because I was playing compositions that I was not familiar with at all. So there's definitely a chance for some human error there. That's completely understandable being, day 1, day 2 of a new patch. But
Absolutely.
either way here, the Olaf still being a huge threat, just tearing through teams. Ooh, is it enough though? Not quite.
Yeah, the Lunar Beast
EricThomas,
coming
yeah.
out on these summoners, and they're just pumping out a lot of damage. Actually gonna lose a round here to Eric Thomas and his summoner comp.
Yeah, not being on six Zerker, I think, was the difference in that round. That Scion being very elusive, unfortunately, to Zeno. So check back in with Leto here, still on one Olaf, on level 6 still, though. Has the Force of Nature for the 7 units, however, playing that Sivir with the Hush. That Hush wants to go on the Olaf, but the other items are not going to be great here, unfortunately. No... oh yeah, lockets were a pretty staple of last patch berserkers, but no lockets here, and lockets getting nerfed as well. I'm not sure it's going to be quite as valuable. Facing against Sasu here with the Titan's Resolve and the Hand of Justice again, wanting to try that out more.
This time having a Hush to finish it off.
Mhm.
We'll see if that can do pretty well, but this Lucian's still alive. Gonna try and kill off as many as it can while the Senna's in GA, trying to get through a lot of HP.
Ooh,
It
close.
actually gets very close.
Yeah.
But Sasu does end up losing to those Berserkers. The one very good thing for Neto is he does have that Nikos, so really only needs to find one more Olaf to get that tier 2. And I think that'd be a huge upgrade, a huge boon for his composition.
Oh, definitely. And swapping that Hush over, he'll start really doing work. I mean, we talk about the mid-game Berserker power spike. Even if you're able to get it a bit before, or maybe even after Raptors, I mean, that's like on sort of the late game, but even still, Berserker compositions can be very dominant at that point as well. As we do check in now here with Fluffy, with only a few synergies here. Oh, okay, now Inferno, Ocean Warden. But with a Taric GA, though, that's, I mean, good enough for a 5-win streak here. Zyra with 3 very good items. Thieves' Gloves on a Kha'Zix, too. Ooh, Iceborne, actually. This reminds me of actual usage of Iceborne Gauntlet. Okay, think about for a second the scenario of a Berserker Kha'Zix with a Seraphs and an Iceborne. Theoretically, Iceborne would be able to freeze in a cleave with the Berserker to all the units. I'm not sure, in fact, if that works.
Work like that?
I don't know. I haven't seen it, but now I want to see it.
That's really good, yeah. I mean, Kha'Zix definitely seems like a decent candidate for the new Iceborne.
Yes.
All thing around, getting the stuns definitely makes a lot of sense. Damn,
Ooh,
that's
that
a
bears.
great piercing arrow. Gonna be able to finish off that round for Fluffy. He's gonna be able to win that one. Does have a spat on the bench, so we'll see if he can find a use for it in this game.
Yeah, be it Force of Nature, or just, you know, whatever else he happens to find on this next PvE round with the Raptors coming up. Oh man, I can't stop thinking about that. The Kha'Zix though with the Iceborne. I really want to see that now. I don't know if we're gonna see it tonight, probably not, but in the future. But either way here, Fluffy still doing really well on a 6-win streak right now. Highest HP in the lobby. We see EricThomas at 9, Leto at 16, Yui at 22, Exkeepcallin 24. So the bottom 4 are all within 1 or 2 hits of being dead.
Yeah, absolutely. The standings are definitely going to be very interesting to see who ends up top 4. Definitely going to be hard to read as there were a lot of people very close. And that race for first place is still very tight.
Yui.
Yui going to hold on single digits, but Exkeepcallin
EricThomas.
as Bububoosh are still both in it, very in it. Exkeepcallin 24 HP, Bububoosh at 50. Those are the 2 to watch for the first place finish. We do lose EricThomas, Yui at 4, Leto at 7.
The single-digit HP, very scary for these players. Exkeepcallin, though, one of the favorites here, I would say, has found a Twitch, but is pretty low. Has a Steel Lux as well. That's probably just for the sake of tankiness right now. It definitely needs that tier 2 Twitch to be able to make this composition happen like he has in the past 2 games. Only having 1 so far, not even on 50 gold though, really is worrying, I think, right now for him.
Yeah, able to pick up maybe a Guardian Angel, maybe a red buff.
Maybe Zeke's.
Yeah, could be Zeke's. Couldn't be bad for the Rangers. Get a little bit of extra attack speed for all of them.
Yeah, does make the Zeke's.
Yep, that'll be what is picked up, at least for the Ashe and for the Twitch. the most important units to get it anyway.
I need Lux
Considering
in the front,
moving that
though.
Lux,
That's the
but
thing.
there aren't any assassins in the game if I remember correctly. So having the steel
like
Lux in the
this.
back line probably not as good as it
Like
maybe usually would be for what it's teched for.
Yeah, I do agree
I
with
gotta
that.
go.
Having it just by a couple extra seconds in the
can't
front line
roll
here.
well.
Oh man, whoever this clone is has a tier 2 Amumu. That's super, super strong here. Can Exkeepcallin win this? I mean, the
It barely
Twitch.
does not reach his
Yeah.
Rangers in the back line. The Twitch is
Oh,
gonna
now it
start
does,
popping
though.
off.
Alright,
Yeah,
this is
that might
Bububoosh's
do it
ghost
because that
board.
brand Pyroclasm is ripping
And I lost
across
terribly.
the composition of Exkeepcalling, and that's
I
definitely
can roll
very
Ooh.
later,
spooky.
but I can't roll
If
now. I
you
needed the
are
50 gold. If I want to
XKC,
hit anything,
Yui goes down, Leto goes down. That's a 7th and a 6th respectively, and
Mhm.
that
Does level
puts
here.
that puts XKC at 15 HP, the lowest in the lobby.
Yeah,
Needs
Soneto
to
and
find a way to
Yui
pull it
dropping
back.
there. Ooh, Amumu for the Wardens. The mate, yeah, plays that over the Lux and decides to play 4 Wardens here. Okay, I do like this. It's actually just the matter of finding the Twitch 2 right now, I think, is the difference between top 3ing this lobby or
Tarek
just
2,
going out
everyone's just
in 5th
cannibalizing
place.
my
Fighting a
units.
tier 2 Tarek here.
Actually,
can't even attack
assassins
these
in
'cause
this
the
time,
Tarek-
and the tier 2 Tarek is able to pop off immediately.
I'm dead.
So these
I'm dead here.
Rangers in the back are
Oh,
really
yeah.
struggling.
By the
This
way.
might actually be it for XKC,
Fluffy.
and that might all but secure the victory of this fight night for
Bro, you
Bububoosh.
guys were right.
But yeah, Exkeepcallin gonna go down in
Twitch-
5th. We'll
Twitch
see
2
where
here.
that puts him in the final rankings. But for now, Bububoosh just needs to make
Let's go,
sure
Mr.
he
Gummy.
gets a good placement, and that'll probably secure
We've got
the
this,
first place
or this,
prize
or
for
that,
the very
and this,
first Fight
or
Night
this,
Rising.
and then go 9.
We'll see how the rest of the standings
That's the point.
shake up,
Mr.
though. I'm
Citizen.
sure every point matters in these final lobbies, as a lot of the field was very close to one another.
Definitely. Zeno, had a couple of really good placements for game 1 and 2, had that 7th in game number 3, but I think Zeno is also a contender for that spot. If for some reason Boosh does get 4th here and Zeno wins, I'm not sure how the points would shape up in that scenario, but definitely still an intense top 4 here between all of these players here as we see Fluffy versus Boosh.
Yeah, we're gonna see that Tarek popping off again. Fluffy constantly getting this tier 2 Tarek to get his ultis out, but the stuns coming down, not letting Tarek get much mana here.
Yorick.
The brand ulti coming out, but at the end of the
Laughing at
day,
me.
the Tarek is just far too strong
Yeah.
on the front line. That GA tech
Leadership
kind of
support.
working out in general.
ideal.
Just a little extra tankiness,
that,
make sure it is a
gladly.
safe unit, because
Or
it
this.
getting all those
This or that.
ultimates off is really carrying Fluffy right now.
So both going right.
And so far, he looks unstoppable, but it looks like Zeno has not run into Fluffy in a bit, so we'll have to see.
Another GA there for Fluffy. Oh man, yeah, players got their choice of what items they wanted there. There's a lot of good items here throughout that carousel. I think this GA goes on the Yorick. The standings as of now, Exkeepcallin, yeah, 36, but Boosh and Zeno and Fluffy all pretty close there. Definitely Bububoosh has a solid lead there though, so it's looking like a Bububoosh victory perhaps. Double Frozen Heart here for Kha'Zix. That's a decent roll, but yeah, that GA does go on the Yorick there. Fluffy looking near unstoppable right now in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like it will be Fluffy probably taking this one, but Zeno will definitely be someone he still has to watch out for. Bububoosh trying to stay alive against Sasu doing the same. It looks like probably one of them goes down here. Possible that Bububoosh can live if he loses the round.
Yeah.
Right now, the Lucian trying to deal enough damage. Senna's still
Ooh,
alive.
yeah, actually.
But that's a low amount of damage. It's not going to be an... Well, I say low, but takes Bububoosh down to 8
12 damage
HP.
there, yeah.
Only 12 though. Bububoosh able to survive a round. Sasu definitely happy to
Ooh,
see
Nami too.
him still win rounds. As you said, Nami 2. That is an Inferno Nami.
Yeah, actually, enabling Inferno for Brandon and Mumu is so important, I think, right now. And having a tier 2 Nami, this composition looks really, really strong. I haven't seen much Ocean Warden Mage, but this is looking like a scenario where it might be able to pick up a top 2. I know Zeno and Fluffy have really high HPs here, but we'll see how it performs this round versus Zeno. Mountain buff goes in the brand. That's huge, actually.
Yeah, that's a
Look at that
massive
Mumu.
Mumu ult hitting pretty
Oh,
much
man.
everyone here, and that's going to be followed up by the
Oh.
tidal wave by the Nami. Another Mumu ult
Olaf can't play the
overlapping
game.
on top of it. They can't play at all, and Bububoosh is going to hang on a bit longer, dropping Zeno very low. Fluffy going to take down Sasu, so Bububoosh at least getting third in this one, but it looks like he might do even better than that. Composition looking quite good. Sasu going to go out in fourth this time around. Pretty solid performance overall by her at this fight night.
That's the win.
Definitely, maybe even a top 4 overall finish. We'll have to check in after the games for that. But a trap claw being offered on Dragon, a Shiv there, and a redemption for Fluffy. I think that redemption goes on either the Tarek or the Yorick there. Probably the Tarek, I would assume. That's going to be a pretty good item. I mean, all these items aren't bad. Static Shiv, I think, probably the weakest item of the 3 right now. But still, it's not like it's a useless spatula item or anything. Bububoosh, I think, can get top 2 depending on these next matchups. Zeno, though, could Zeno beat Fluffy? I'm not sure if Zeno can beat either composition here. Thinking about it.
Zeno might end up falling in third here. It's just going to come down to a little bit of RNG, but also composition-wise might just not have enough in the tank to deal with Fluffy or Bububoosh.
Oh, hell
Yeah, finds the Malphite too as well. Look of relief maybe on the face of Bububoosh. They're finding all of these upgrades. It must be a really good feeling knowing that you are, point leader heading into this game. So, putting the trap claw on the Nami, facing Fluffy here, though. Can this composition be strong enough to win?
Yeah, this is going to be the real tell for who might end up winning this game. Bububoosh versus Fluffy. That Tarek popping off, still preventing so much damage. A Mumu trying to peel for his backline of Bububoosh. The Tarek finally actually going down. That's a big knockup. A lot of CCs
Brand's still alive.
on that alternating, trying to keep doing that damage.
Oh, man.
Pumping out everything, and Bububoosh is able to actually win that round, take down Fluffy's win streak.
Zeno as well.
Winning as well against the clone army. So that's pretty big for him. This is still going to be a very tight game. Fluffy, I think maybe Fluffy's clone not able to beat Zeno. Not sure, because we did see that Bububoosh did beat Zeno fairly handedly previously. So
yeah. However, Fluffy was econing the entire time. Now goes to level 9, puts an Ocean Lux in. That's going to be extremely strong here. Maybe the difference that Fluffy needs to take some of these victories. I mean, facing Zeno here, we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, for Ocean gonna enable his Tarek to get even more of those ultis out. That's been such a big deal. One gonna come down, hitting across the entire team, keeping people alive for as long as possible. It looks like a lot of damage coming out on both sides, but it looks like Fluffy is edging out ever so slightly. Just hanging on a little bit longer, gonna scout out the other board, seeing if this Olaf can kill off someone else.
1 HP.
Boosh barely hanging on 1 HP. Zeno goes down, and I'm fairly confident to say that Bububoosh has secured first place at the very first Fight Night Rising. So congratulations to him. But Fluffy looks like he may be able to take this game overall, and that might improve his placements for the tournament. We're going to have to see where he can square himself away at with a very strong performance in the final game.
Yeah, I wonder if even Bububoosh can take down Fluffy's composition again. I think Bububoosh lost to the Zeno clone there, but we'll see how this matchup here shapes up.
Yeah, we're going to have to see the Tarek going down with a very quick ultimate, mitigating all the damage from the Amumu coming out. We get a knockup across from the Nami. It's blocked by the Trap Claw, able to save from the Nautilus ulti. Another Tarek coming down, another tidal wave constantly back and forth with these 5-star tier 2 units coming across, but the Brand staying alive, able to output all the damage, and Bububoosh able to take a round, staying alive one more time.
This is an impressive performance here. I mean, granted, there's a lot of tier 2 with like really good items here for Bububoosh, but I would have thought Fluffy would have taken this pretty convincingly. Bububoosh now also gets a Force of Nature, so going to be even stronger versus Fluffy. I mean, Fluffy did though pick up a QSS, Quicksilver, which is going to be very, very strong into the Amumu and the Nami and the Malphite and the Nautilus. There's so much CC on the side of Bububoosh. Does fit in Mystics here though. This is huge.
Yeah, I think that Quicksilver is actually kind of huge. I wonder where it's going to go.
I'm
looked
not
like it was on
sure.
classics.
I'll have to check back in a second. I
Yeah,
mean, we'll see when the round starts.
We'll see
either
when
way.
the round starts. Absolutely, it did go
Uh,
onto the. Wait, no,
It's on the
that's
Lux,
Thieves
yeah,
Gloves.
because Thieves
On the
Gloves, so
Lux,
both
yeah.
of them have it here, which
I
might,
saw
yeah.
it for a split second. And I'm like, well, it's got me Thieves Gloves, but yeah. 2 are gonna have it for this round. That's actually huge. I actually
Yeah, it
think that
is.
might make the difference in this round for Fluffy. We're gonna have the Taric ult coming across, definitely doing a lot of work. The Nami wave not able to actually knock up 2 of the members, and Lux is
Lux.
popping off with a couple final
so
sparks.
boost, really?
One more Taric ult trying to come
Oh,
down
she's
as
full
the
HP.
redemption comes down, and she's full HP
There's the
again.
wash.
Oh my god, yeah.
The
difference
QSSs,
of the
yeah.
QSSs was allowing all these DPS to get the damage out. You look at the Lux, you look at the Kha'Zix on the damage meters, and they did so much work with those Quicksilvers. And,
Oh,
you know,
definitely.
congrats to Fluffy for taking the final game here. Gonna get himself an extra 13 points, which I'm sure will shake up the standings that we'll get pretty soon. But congrats to Bububoosh. I am certain that he has taken victory here tonight on Fight Night Rising, the very first one here on Giant Slayer TV. Going to be taking home that clean Benjamin for his efforts here today.
Indeed, yeah, 45 points from Bububoosh. Look at these scores. A first place, 2 second places, and a 4th place, top 4 every game. Bububoosh very, very dominant here. Fluffy, you know, as well, top 4 every game. In 2nd place, 39 points. Exkeepcallin, you know, 2 first places are good enough to net him 3rd place here. I believe wins the tiebreakers because more first place victories there. Zeno in 4th with 36 as well. Sasu 29, EricThomas 22, Yui 21, and Silnetta with 16 points. But yeah, congrats to all of our top 4 finishes here, but especially to Bububoosh here, playing phenomenally tonight.
A heartbreak for Zeno. He was so close to
Yeah.
finishing 2nd in that game, which would have allowed him to get invited back to the next Fight Night Rising in 2 weeks from now. We will see Bububoosh, Fluffy, and Exkeepcallin the next time. And speaking of Bububoosh, I believe we have a winner's interview for him.
All right, I'll hop on over to here. All right, yeah.
So once, yeah, grab him in here. Bububoosh, congratulations, man. Welcome. And man, good work. Congrats on winning the very first ever Fight Night Rising. How you feeling, buddy?
Dude, I'm feeling very awesome. Happy I got the win, and hopefully the climb to Challenger starts now, I guess.
Oh yeah, what are you at right now?
I'm Diamond 2 currently.
Okay, I mean, yeah, dominant performance here from you tonight. I would be surprised, you know, if you're not able to make it to their top 4 every single game here. Do have a couple of questions just about this, you know, new patch, this new meta. Obviously, it's very, very new, you know, day 2 of it. But what strikes you as, you know, front runners in terms of compositions this patch? What do you prefer going? What are you liking?
I think some Sin kind of got a little strong again as well. It's kind of seeming like, you know, it tends to be you play whatever you feel is strongest, as the wise words of Grand Vice always tells me.
Yeah.
But that feels strong, and Light kind of feels like a top 4 comp. You know, if you want to try and get top 4 most of the time, you can try and like get Light Senna Soulbound ish.
Yeah, for sure. That composition did, yeah, top 4 a lot. Rangers as well, I think, was a dominant composition here. How do you feel about Rangers?
Yeah, they gave me the most trouble. The Poison Ranger comps, Exkeepcallin, when he had the Twitch 2 with the Singe, that was a struggle to play against.
Definitely. I had that in game 2 and game 3. Tried to go it in game 4, I think, but a little low roll there. But yeah, overall, it seemed like a very dominant composition. But just the consistency of your play tonight, very impressive. Being able to hold on throughout all these tough opponents. Just congratulations again. Casa, do you have anything else? Any other questions?
Yeah, actually. So in your first game, you were able to take the first place with a Predator comp, which was a little bit surprising because we didn't actually see very much Predators overall across the entire night of Fight Night here. But you were able to get a first place. Do you think Predators is in a good spot right now, or did you just kind of high roll a lot and just felt like it might work out?
I don't even really know on that one. I kind of just got Skarner 3 and Ash and Giant Slayer or whatever and went for it. I just kind of went with it for that one.
Heart of the cards. I see. No, for sure.
Yeah.
That first place being a big boon and able to keep you kind of consistent throughout the rest of the games, and you did a great job of consistently finishing in the top 4, which is the very important thing that we always harp on in Fight Night, is making sure that you constantly are getting those high finishes, because at the end of the day, it's not the number of first places you get, it's just making sure you have consistent finishes in the top 4, and you did just that. So congratulations again, and we're excited to see you back in 2 weeks for the next Fight Night.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. Congrats on the victory. I think that will do it for here tonight for us here at Giant Slayer TV. The first Fight Night Rising, won by Bububoosh. There were some great games tonight. New patch, always exciting, but it will shake up a lot in 2 weeks when we're here for the next one, when people sort of solve this meta. I'm excited to see the progression of it from here until then. But signing off tonight. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for watching. It was a lot of fun. Casa, I enjoyed casting with you as always. Thank you very much, my friend.
As always, my man.
Any closing words?
Well, I have an announcement to make.
Oh, announcement.
Keep your eyes on the Giant Slayer Twitter for more announcements in the future. I'm doing it again to them, hitting them with it. There's going to be more stuff coming soon, tons more content, so make sure to keep your eyes on Giant Slayer TV on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, everywhere. We got plenty of TFT content coming your way, and we're excited to send it to you.
The announcement of the announcement. That will do it here tonight. Peace out, everybody. See you in 2 weeks.